Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right, the brat. Pretty mama, they shining so bright. LaMayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitters, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam, lifting us higher.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Ben, Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play. So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins, Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, Schoolboy, aka the. There's levels to this game. Develop your game. Level up your game. We out. Yeah. It's Mo and Mike in the house. Going hard with the legends. Paying homage, you know. Yo. Twins, Mo and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right, the brat. Pretty mama, they shining so bright. LaMayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitters, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam, lifting us higher.
Run the register, I'm merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Ben, Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play. So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins, Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday Buck Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching out, so maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, schoolboy, aka the. There's levels to this game. Develop your game. Level up your game. We out.
Yeah. It's Mo and Mike in the house.
Going hard with the legends. Paying homage, you know. Yo. Twins, Mo and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right. The brat, pretty mama, they shining so bright. Lil Mayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L-Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier. Champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday Buck Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching out, some baby we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitter, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam lifting us higher.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday Buck Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching out, some baby we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Being Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play. So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins, Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday Buck Jeep, Yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching out, so maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, schoolboy, aka the. There's levels to this game. Develop your game. Level up your game. We out.
What up? What up? What's up? Big shout out to everybody out there in the Shark Tank. Big shout out to all my people out there in the Shark Tank. Big shout out to all my people out there on the back street. I hear you. What's up? What's up, everybody? I know what time it is. It's Talk Shit Tuesday. And you know, I'm coming in, kicking down the doors because the doors fit the close. Y'all know what time it is. Appreciate everybody for coming out, showing up. Last show of the motherfucking year. So, I thought I'd crank up something new. Give you really something to hate on. You know what I'm saying? Look, fellas. 2025 is on the way out the back door. 2026 is on the way in. Hopefully everybody come in You want to always make sure the next year is better, you know, because you never promised that other day. So take advantage of the days that you have. You know, the reason I want to have, you know, this show right here, you know, looking back over, and me personally, just looking back over all the shows that we did this past year. I think the January, I think the 21st, it'll be our first show we dropped. February, right? February, when the show actually dropped. But I think back on that whole time period, we'll be coming up on 4 years in February. So I looked at this last year with all the shit that goes on, you know, when you look at the YouTube community and what we've done over the past year, you know, you sit back and be like, okay, a lot of new faces, a lot of the old faces gone, you know. So you kind of try to get an idea how you want to go into the next year, considering I'm trying to get out of this shit. But I figure if we're going to do it, I told you I'm going to tighten up my game on the way out. So we're going to be a little bit more open about how and what we do. Put it all on the table, you know what I'm saying? I want to give all my big shout outs to all my people out there. Let me get out my shout outs right quick. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Carlos Lee in the house representing. What up, fam? Said Tank and the legendary JSK. Let's sit back and enjoy this final ride of 2025 and into 2026. Happy New Year and a blessed one for everybody, to everyone. S2W, yes sir. I feel you, fam. Y'all want to bite down and shake that like button, courtesy of the one and only Double M. There's Bo's in the house. What up, fam? Big shout out to my main man, Mr. Marcel Shepard. I see you, fam. See Murder. What up, fam? Big shout out to my main man, Mr. Paul Johnson. What up, fam? You representing the D, my man, the Mad Doctor. What up, fam? My man, Mr. Chico Nicholas. What up, fam? Shout out to my main man, Havoc 360. What up, fam? Yo, Pitwise, Kennel in the house. I see you, fam. Big shout out to my brother out there, the one and only Pit Dogs in the house. What up, fam? Simplified, fam. Big shout out to Hooch. What up, fam? Who else I got down here? Big shout out to my man, longtime supporter, Walnut PA in the house. What up, fam? Okay, fellas, look, you know, going into the new year, right? You know, you have expectations. You always want the next year to be better than the last year. You know, and it's kind of like when it comes to these dogs over the years, and I know we sit here and I'm pretty sure pretty much everybody's, if you've been with us from day one, from the very, very first video called The Yard, you know, a lot of the things that we said in that very, very first video, I think that we chronologically walked that shit all the way, almost a total of 4 years with a whole lot of shit said, you know, and it takes me back to why we originally, and see, it's like, for me, now I ain't gonna speak for Mo, because Mo, we are our own individual, but for me, when we first started doing it this way, you know, Mo's biggest thing in mind was to give back to the game, you know, something that, first of all, we would have never known it was possible to dress it, you know, this way. simply because over the years, being away from the game, you never really was away from the game. You know, but being able to share your knowledge on a big platform, you know, and be able to talk about a lot of the guys that we talk about, because they're not out here. But we can get in there and you'll see a lot of their work just based on some of the videos that we have put together. We've talked about them. We've enjoyed sharing their, you know, quality of work. You know, and then we've had them on the show. You know, so if you sit back and you say, what do you get out of all that? And I ask myself that when I look at my audience, what do we get out of all that? What do they get out of all that? A lot of information. And what I get out of all that, I get to sit back and watch Mo just give a whole bunch of information based on our experience and then just his love of the game. You know, it's easy for a lot of people to talk about these dogs because it seems like everybody got them. But one thing that I noticed, not everybody can do what a lot of these other guys have done. And that to me sets that level a little bit different, because in order to really understand this, it was something that you would have to be in. You know, take it like, at my age, I got a chance to grow up and watch a lot of things change in my lifetime. I've said this before, but I take like Dr. J to Michael Jordan, to Kobe Bryant, to LeBron James. To be able to see and enjoy a sport like basketball, where I grew up following sports. I had come from a sports family, as far as my dad was just a sports fanatic. But watching how the game of basketball went from, you know, the elbows, snatching folks out the air and shit, and still be able to accomplish the things that I seen Dr. J was able to accomplish when it was a lot more physical then. A lot more, you know, put your hands on them. Don't let them just win the game. Make them earn it type of shit. You know what I mean? And that's a long way from, at least for me, to see another young guy. And I seen that guy in high school. I keep telling you, I seen Jordan when he played in high school, and to see him become the GOAT, and knowing that at some point he was going to surpass, you know, my love for Dr. J. I even told him after I seen him play in high school, and, you know, a lot of friends, and coming from Kinston, North Carolina, there was a lot of ball players that just came out of that one city, just alone. Stackhouse is one that was there before he even entered the pros and went into college, went to North Carolina. So when you know people like him, Shackelford, and then watch Brandon Ingram grow up and come out of the same place, it's almost like I'm watching all this kind of shit. And it's not like I got to read about it. I mean, these are guys that I kind of watch grow up. And then at my age, I sit back and look on all of this, and I can remember it just like it was yesterday. I don't want to forget my man Cedric Maxwell. He's right out of that Kinston area too, right out of Kinston. But just, you know, that's where I did a lot of my hanging out when I was in North Carolina, and as a young kid, and these guys were younger than I was, you know, and watching that, you experience a lot, and you get a chance to see the progression, even as I'm watching humans that I know progressed over the years. And again, I'm telling you, it was just like yesterday. And be able to say the same thing about these damn dogs from way back in 1980. And think about all the people that you met along the way. All the people had that major influence on why we were doing the things we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And then as time goes on, you're going through your own experience. It's like we're transforming from the Dr. J era to the Jordan era in the dogs. Because I got a chance to meet a lot of men of color with these dogs. Considering, remember, we coming out of North Carolina, we had a lot of brothers down there, but the people who had the good dogs, they were of the other race. So, and to have that kind of relationship with them, to know, what we actually started with, not knowing then. Keep in mind, still not knowing then. But to be able to look back on that and be able to say, yeah, them first group of dogs, they was hell. I can see why. And then be able to have enough knowledge and experience to look back on that and understand why they was as bad as they were. But then the growing, as you grew, I watched us grow and be better. And we don't do this thing here to brag and try to be bigger and better than anybody. Again, nah. I mean, if any and everybody can have their own story and be able to tell their own story. It's just up to you and how you choose to do it. And then when it ain't the story, maybe it's just you like talking dogs. Well, we don't do this because we like talking dogs. We like sharing an experience as if we were actually giving you guys the knowledge for free. That's basically it. You don't see no memberships in here based on our experience. You don't see me running a drop of a Patreon to make you pay for the things that we share. I be feeling sometimes that if you're not getting the message, and when you done said enough, sometimes it's just good to let the ones who got a chance to have it, to enjoy it and have something they can go back to. Because I'm always telling you guys, hey, don't ever believe anything that anybody tell you. Not even when it comes down to us. But if you be willing to really find out and just go put in the work, you'll see a lot of shit and find out for yourself. And it works hand in hand, because pretty sure you can best believe that as we grew in this game, that was one of the biggest and the most important things that we learned. Take it from day one, when I think Atlas Brewer, was it James Edwards that gave us the first dog? Okay. When James Edwards gave us that first dog, he didn't tell us nothing except for he gave us a dog. Nothing about conditioning, really nothing about the bloodline where he got into it, because, we got the papers. The rest, you were on your own. And then look how the learning process took off from there. That's the thing that I be trying to push from my point of view. Now let Mo do what he do, but what I do is, hey, this shit didn't just come from us sitting around the table talking. This shit actually, took up a lot of years, a lot of time, but it was one of the most enjoyablest times that I've ever had in my life. Because I got a chance to meet a lot of people, a lot of good dog men, especially when you're meeting people that have that same type of passion. See, I don't know how other people look at when you do things in life, but see, when I do things in life, I try to do it with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And that's for real. If I'm going to work, if I'm going to have, you know, a job and I'm going to be working this job, you know, I got to have a love for what I'm doing to be good at what I'm doing. I took the same attitude when it came to the music industry, and I took the same attitude when it came to the dogs. And the thing about that work, you know, if you ain't working, then you're not going to experience shit. You know, as long as you're working, you're going to keep experiencing things. And as long as you keep experiencing these things, you'll never forget these things. So when the years go by and then you got a chance to go back and look back on your life, like I do every aspect of my life. That's going to be 65 with a heart condition. You know what I mean? People around you dying, but then my energy keeps me looking forward and be blessed for every day that I have a chance to have another day. So when I look back on those days, I enjoyed those days. I enjoy to see Mo sit back and talk about them. I enjoy running in here and try to just, you know, have something to say that's going to be beneficial to somebody somewhere somehow. You know, I see Mo, he does a lot of driving points home by showing you shit. And it might seem repetitive and simple, but no, I'd be shocked to see people who try to take something that's in the past that has already been done and question it when there's nothing you could do about it anyway. You know, the thing that you're supposed to get out of all of that, when he's showing you these champions and these grand champions and the people who had these dogs, and then you hear about the Tudors and the Klauses and the Carvers. These people are already etched in stone in this community. Regardless of what they did, how they did it, look, the fact is they're still part of the history of this game. Now, history without work is impossible for me. Because if you ain't putting in the work, then you can understand why there's nothing to talk about. If we didn't have some type of history, then there would be no kind of way we could actually talk about and show you the things that we show you. We don't show you to try to be better than everybody else. We're showing you based on the fact that, hey, this is what we was doing. This is like just a receipt to show you what it's doing. But then this is what these people were doing. So get a better understanding. We're not even on their level, but look, you almost see we all have something in common. And the biggest thing we all seem to have in common, and we at the lower part of the totem pole, and I say this again, is we had good dogs. And for the people, you know, for the haters, I'm going to have this comment for you. If you've ever watched this show from the very beginning, you will notice we were in the dogs and out of dogs. The second time we're out of dogs because of the raid shit. But got to remember, the first time, that first batch of dogs, when Bebe and Brett and all those dogs got sold, Mo was selling bitches with bellies full of puppies to try to save his marriage. But that didn't work out. That's why he came back. And we had a whole nother. Huh?
You said it didn't work out.
Well, no, the marriage didn't work out. Your marriage did not work out.
Oh, marriage. Okay.
Fuck. But as far as when you sit and think about all those people that got dogs, did it ever dawn on you that them people had enough sense? And you got to think of the people who actually got these dogs. We didn't run no ad in the motherfucking journal about getting rid of dogs. I told you Mo got rid of all them dogs. And I mean, a lot of them dogs got sold for a king's ransom in 30 days. And to sit back and watch what those dogs were able to do in other people's hands. Me personally, those dogs would have did that regardless of who had them, long as the right person had them. It just happened to be the right people. Because if the right people didn't have them, would we ever be able to sit here and talk about them? Do y'all ever think about that point? Them dogs, Twin and them bred them dogs, but you know, they sold them and so on. So look what they got out of them. Look what they did with it. You ever sit back and think of that? Because ain't that what we did with Victor's dogs? Ain't that what y'all do with anybody's dogs? You take them, and then it's up to you to make the bloodline work for you. See, we wasn't a walk-on-mall type of situation. We actually got out and we got around and we matched our dogs. And so did a lot of those other guys. That's how we were able to make sure that the right people got them. And especially when you got big kennels coming by, you know, just reaching out, hey, I heard, and come quick, and they come and they take and they do the things that they do. You know, that's just another, you know, feather in our hat, simply because it wasn't just us being able to do the things that we was having so much fun doing. You can't hate on that part, because I'm just putting it out there, because if you just go look, you will see. And I've seen you guys looking around. So you see what we doing. You've seen what we've done. And if you look hard enough, because you want to find something else, you're going to see other things. That, you know, Mo makes it easy because he shows you. So you don't have to go everywhere. All you got to do is find the right video. But that's the progression that our audience has been able to follow us over the years, and we going into our 4th year. So there's not much about us that you don't pretty much know as far as what we have done in the game. I think we spend a lot more time at trying to get people to understand the formula, the secret sauce, the dedication, the responsibility, the extra knowledge, you know, that you know, damn what somebody else told you, you know, because that's the way we feel about it, because we're not that somebody else. We can only tell you about this part right here. That's why it's for us. Sometimes it's just not even enough to go back and forth and question it, because again, I can't tell you about everybody else, but I can definitely tell you about everything here. How it was done, why it was done. You know, he always say, why did you take that bitch to that male? Or why did you breed to that female, to that male, or that male to that female? All that always came down to, it's not something they just up and did. And I think he has explained that pretty much. And I've kind of reiterated that situation, because they used to go back and forth about it all the time. But the success of trying to share that information with an audience as the years go by, I know, up to this point here, if you have listened and followed and paid attention, there was a lot of things that you probably never knew, a lot of things that were said that you had to go back and be like, damn, I got to try that. You know, when you're throwing a whole lot of shit out there and you have over 800 and something thousand views, there's a lot of people looking. And I don't really feel bad about, you know, being able to sit here and do this for as long as we've done this, and think, and, you know, be in a situation where I think that we just full of shit, you know what I mean? That getting in the fussing and the arguing and the back and forth shit. You know, that's the thing I always try to stay away from, because that's our motto. Don't talk about it, be about it. And if you look at these dogs with that kind of compassion, something that you feed, especially these dogs. If you wanted to just have a dog, why don't you go get a poodle or something? This is the American Pit Bull Terrier community. That means everybody journey is running around or had some type of relationship with an American Pit Bull Terrier. And when you have that type of relationship with these type of dogs, there was always going to be some type of purpose, and regardless of what that purpose was, the first purpose that you always had was the love of the dog. Now, I don't know about a lot of dog men and how they did things, but you got to remember, we got a lot of knowledge from a lot of great dog men who didn't have to share a damn thing. We got a lot of great dogs from a lot of great dog men, a lot of breedings from a lot of great dog men who didn't have to open their doors to give us access to that shit. You know, we were able to go out and breed the champions and grand champions just by a phone call and say, come on. So when you talk about nobody knows, if you have been watching these videos and watching the dogs in our breeding program, think about it. How the hell are you not going to know them? That takes me back to try to keep reiterating the integrity part of this game. Not to try to make ourselves look big, no. To understand how we were actually able to do that. Integrity meant a lot. And that's a plus. Actually, that's the most important thing, because without it, we wouldn't have been able to walk on a lot of the yards that we was able to walk on. We wouldn't have been able to walk indoors that the average person could never get in, because you don't know enough people or don't have something that would make somebody want to open their door. And you can't tell me, things, people change over time. Well, say that to somebody who ain't lived as long as I have. Don't give me no bullshit about times is different. I mean, I've lived through a couple times, decades of times. No, I'm not the hermit that sits in the house my whole entire life. When we talk about these dogs, that's not something we just did on, every once in a while. You don't have a big yard like that and just not handle it as we handled it, which, as I told you, we handled it as a business. So it's the integrity part of the game that's important for me, because going into these new years, to 2026, knowing how the times are, because I'm still living. So can't tell me about the times. I ain't dead yet. I'm still living through them. So I always have that energy to say what I feel like the next 10 years, if God gives me a chance, what I would expect to see. And whatever this community goes, as long as I'm living, I want to always be a part of it by doing something that's going to make it better. I feel like these videos and this podcast was supposed to make it better, because I've never forgot the fact that we talking to some goddamn grown ass men. Sometimes you get lost up in that type of shit because of the fucking shit that I actually be seeing going on. And sometimes I be thinking that people might be, you think I'm some little ass kid, you know what I mean? But then you be looking at the whole community and be like, is this, maybe it is full of a bunch of little kids. Just based on the actions, the conversations, I try to keep this shit over here serious as hell. Real serious. We try to stay as serious can be. You know? So if I'm looking for anything going into 2026, I'm looking for a lot more of the dog shows. A lot more of the community and the YouTubers to talk about these dogs, to, you know, get a mindset on just, if you want to make it bigger and better, create the participation. See, one thing I could say about the journal, regardless if you was in it, you was in it or you wasn't in it, the fact is, when y'all talk shit about it, there are journals full of nothing but competition. And you cannot get around that. That is already etched. That's why we go back, because that is what that was all about. Take that little that social media aspect and look at that journal as that for us. You know, and then you take and say, okay, YouTube gives us an avenue to suck up a lot of information, but that information is not turning into participation. See, the participation part for me is like what South Bottom does. It's like what Samurai does. Even if it ain't nothing but a digital dog show, at least it's something. I mean, I have much respect for people who are trying to do something. Big shout out to my man Jesse over the APDR. They're trying to do something. Big shout out to all you fellas that jumping out there in the ADBA shows. At least it's something. Big shout out to all my people out there in the back street to take that risk. Can't blame them, because at least they're doing something. Big shout out to all my hog hunters out there. Big out to all my protection people out there. At least they doing something. See, when you're doing something, you have a lot to talk about. And the only reason you can talk about it, because somebody somewhere is appreciating your work. And going into 2026, that's what I look to see different. That's all. I have faith in the fact that the dog game has been around long before us, and it's going to be around long after us. We lost a lot of great dog men here this last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, you know, but this game has still kept on marching. So to this community that I hold so dear, simply because I spent the majority of my youth doing it, I have a little bit more respect for the dogs and the people. And if we could just pass that forward just a little bit, apply some of that just a little bit, then I expect to see there will be a change. I mean, I ain't talking about no little change. I'm talking about a big change. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to my man, Wimune! Wimune! What up, fam? I see ya. Yes, sir. Chest to chest, camp versus camp. Salute to you too, fam. What else I got out here? V-Mask, what up, fam? I see you. Don't worry about it, V-Mask. I'm going to take care of that. Welcome to the Shark Tank, fam. Appreciate having you. Big shout out to my man Union, Tiny Kennels in the house. What up? Bam! Big shout out to my man Armin North Fleet. What up, fam? You would know, Armin. Big shout out to my man Armin. He said that's because you guys have always been real and good dudes. I appreciate that, Armin. But you know, not everybody knows like you know it. So I just try to share that information. And here again, this is coming from another great dog man. For those who don't know him, trust me and believe, you will know him, because I'm pretty sure Mo have shown you his champions and grand champions in the journal. So that's just another legend hanging out. But he's just trying to tell you and keep it simple. Let me see here. Big shout out to my man Union County. He said, yes, Chico, he gave them all to us. The few that were on the team. I'm praying I get this breeding battle. It's been a year to decide on. Let me see what y'all talking about up there. Yeah, I got you. Brother Union, I have to get a female when the magic happens. I begged Bob to buy a puppy and he wouldn't sell me one. He kept a lot of his own blood. I get it though. But you know what, fellas? Let me tell y'all something. Now, get this part understood. Let me get this out the way. Guy Coasting, I see you, fam. What up? When you talking about, being able to go up to, certain people and be able to do a lot of certain things. Now, Troy, I let Mo get into that part because he can name all the places and things. But let me tell you how the easiest and the best way to do anything when it comes to shit like that. You know what I'm saying? No good dog man is going to don't sell dogs. He's not just going to give just anybody his dogs. Just keep it real. There's guys that will give you trash. And because you getting a dog just from that person, it's like it's going to be some big thing. But to that person that you holding so highly of that you want something off his yard, of course he's going to give you some. It's no guarantee it's going to be worth something. But you got to make it just a little bit harder. When people was trying to, when we got around people and did our networking where they felt comfortable to let us in, and they were willing to not just let us in, but then, but only at arm's length, but just let you in to really get the full impact of this is what it is. This is how we do it. And this is what we use. And this is how we think. You need to do this and you need to do that. I mean, all the way down to how to handle, all the way down to everything that you could possibly think of when it comes to dealing with these goddamn dogs. They was setting it out due to relationships. Being real. Everybody is being real with each other. They don't have to tell you shit. They don't have to sell you shit. If you got that money in your hand, yeah, you can buy it. But okay, who you want to make sure that, if I'm selling my dog to somebody, I'm trying to make sure that it's going to be worth selling them to that person. Them little backyard deals, just because you got a dog from somebody, that don't mean shit. See, when them people took them dogs from us, and when Mo sold them dogs and them people got them dogs, they knew what they was getting. Because they believed in what Mo was giving them. You know what I'm saying? They knew what we were doing. Clearly. That's why they didn't have no problem paying that money. But the relationship had to be there first. because anybody could have came up and just bought the dogs because they couldn't. And I think that is the most important thing when you out here buying dogs. Look, don't have nothing on your yard but your shit and work your hand from there. Because if you already got something on your yard and you've been in this dog game 5 to 10 years and you ain't never been able to do shit or produce shit, why the hell would you go to a top kennel and try to buy anything? Especially a puppy. See, that's the type of shit that I hear. See, those are one of the reasons why me at my age, I can sit back and look at a lot of these YouTubers in this community and sit back without having to talk about none of them and be able to sit back and say what I'm fixing to say. And that is, y'all have ripped into our past because it's out there. You know why you don't do it for yours? Because you can't. And I know that rubs some people, but I didn't say that to rub anybody. That's just to push my point across that there's levels to this shit. And this game ain't never been built on a bunch of talking. Oh yeah, we've had our shares of talking. But every time you open up them goddamn journals, year after year after year after year after year after year, I can keep on going on. You're going to find people climbing over them damn walls. And if somewhere in there you can't find yourself anywhere, not even in the lost column, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad to the point you got to talk shit about the ones who did. Because that makes me question your integrity. Because you have every right and all the possibilities and all the effort if you put in the work and time to be able to do exactly the same thing that we did. And that is why I speak on 2026. If you work on having something to talk about, you'll be talking about your shit instead of everybody else's. That's what this community needs more of. And that's what this audience needs to be more aware of. Because one goddamn thing you're going to hear from over here, you're going to get it nice, raw, and real. Because it ain't no need to sit around here and bullshit people. There's no need for that. Not when you can sit back and just put it on the table like we do. On all them guys, all them big kennels, all them, I mean, just think of all the people we talking about here. And it's nowhere near the names that fill up them journals. That's just a handful. But that same big old community can go right into 26 doing whatever they want to do, but find your own levels, create your own place in history. Because it's easy to talk about somebody else. It's even harder to talk about yourself. Let's try to fix that problem. This community will become a whole lot better because it takes integrity to do the second part. Talk about yourself. That's where integrity comes from. Because you don't have to say too many words. Just let other people fill that in. That's all. Just let other people fill it in. Because if you're good to people, I mean, I done heard people say a lot of fucking shit, when it comes down to us. But I ain't, people who know us, they know we cool all the way around. All the way around the table. All the way around. We We stick to that. We do our best to try to be that. But in the same token, you know, it's easy for us to be committed to what we're doing because it's our life. We them type of guys. This is our life. We're going to do this our way. For people always say, you know, why we always right? Well, let me fill y'all in. I did tell you, I don't work for anybody. So let me start there. I don't have to go worry about that part. When it came down to these dogs, those are all business deals. Those became our business partners. Those became my network people. How do you get in? Like any other business. Create a rapport. Give them a reason to want to look. Give them a reason to want to let you in. That's the most important part of the game. Your connections. So 2026, that's what I look for. Now, whether it happens or not, no, I don't mean only time will tell, but I look to do my part moving forward. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on really putting these shows together. You know, I'm going to put a lot more time into getting healthy and getting out on the road and showing up at a lot of these shows. Hopefully after this operation I have, my body get back right where I can at least start working a dog, you know, get one for a confirmation show. Just to say, you know, just to be part of one, you know. But yeah, that's my goal for 2026. So if y'all feel me, y'all understand where I'm coming from. I'm turning this over to my man Mo right quick. Let me run down here and make sure I got everybody. No, I see my man Quick C. Quick FC, I see you, fam. Let me see. I'm working my way up the list. I'm be working my way back down here. Hold on. Let me see right there. Who that? Right here we go. Let's see. Hey, bro. It's on you, Mo. Oh. Big shout out to my man Anthro Bulldogology. What up, fam? I know I just butchered that. Anthro Bulldogology. Yeah. What up, fam? Okay, hold on. In the county, let me see who else we got down there. I see my man went in. Yeah. Okay. I think I got that. I think I got everybody in place here right quick. Hey, you know, I was working on, I'm waiting on Mo to come back through. But you know, I was working on that my little music thing, because what I wanted to do, you know, I always told you I meant to be messing around and shit. I said, you know, Mo, I'm gonna really make them hate us after this shit here. You know, just to, you know, put a little effort into doing something. And I want y'all to look, to take don't take this as a rub, but just take it like, you know, something that's going to be fun. See, I'm looking at 2026 to be fun. You know, because I think we've done enough as far as everything else, as far as putting, you know, having to pay this debt to all my people in the past, you know, because we're going to always keep talking about the Mahamas, the M&Ms, and all their dogs, because there's so many of them. We've only touched, you know, we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg, because there's so many other dogs that we could just dissect and understand why these dogs were able to do what they do. See, we stopped short of the now because of the way the laws and everything and you never know what other people's intentions are or what the hell y'all doing out there with them dogs. So there is a cutoff limit to where we stop, that conversation. And we prefer to get you guys on the bus and get a better understanding of how we work things based on what we were dealing with in the past and how that worked through our time period, where y'all could get an understanding. Hey, fellas, this is how the game rolled. This is the method it was done, because y'all really ain't no different than us. Everybody's journey gonna have to go through the same thing, because the dog men name's gonna change, the dog's gonna change, but these bloodlines that have been working for all the years and the years and the years and the years. Man, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, because it's always gonna be, in the history, regardless of what you think to say about it, it is what it is. So while Mo getting his shit together right quick, I'm gonna crack y'all in the head right quick with my jam. Hold on, Mo. I'm gonna do this right quick, man, and then I'm gonna let you in. Hold on. Let me get this right away. You still doing that looking?
Yeah. Ciao. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cars. From yellow Mayday 8s, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty mama got the look and the structure intact. L-Ride bring the heat, yellow bird bring the flame. Guns and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turn. No shortcuts taken, no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday ace, turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the gang, stamp legit. Find him in Tornadoes pedigree. Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O., our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennel, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the stack is 6. Yes. Tom, Dick, Todd, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time. Time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low type, apex, pressure built for the chase. Gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade. Third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. I said third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid.
What's up? Y'all give me a thumbs up. Make sure y'all hear me nice and clear tonight on Talk Shit Tuesday. What's going on out there, y'all? What's up? I just want to go and reiterate on some things. Back to the book. I like playing around in these books because it get insight. You need insight, and I'm going to give you insight. You know, y'all talk shit about this book. I'm going to keep on putting y'all in the book. So, keep y'all in the book so y'all can see and understand where I'm coming from. Because I'm going to stay in the book. You know what I mean? I'm going to stay in the book. Because that's where we at. We back here in the past where we can get in the book and stay in the book. I think the first one I'm going to kick out tonight off the bat. Give me a chance to get it in here. I get that. Sure. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting it up here, y'all. Okay, what would it be? I'm coming. Your computer's moving slow, Con. Yeah, guys, I'm getting there. The screen is moving slow.
Hold on, he had a mishap. Let me help. Let me get him back started right quick here. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, y'all. Baby popping up in there. All right, y'all. Here we go. Yes, I'm here. Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Hey, I'm in there. Hey, first one I'm coming up with my man, Armin, since he in the room. Champion heart attack. That's by Armin. Read by B West. Lane guys going in, when you're dealing with fast lane, you're gonna see them fast lane guys. I mean, who don't know roadblock. And Julio, you see, he got a 1. But he was a good dog. I seen the Frankenstein, I seen Julio, Frankenstein, and I saw Wooly. I mean, and that in Carver. 3rd generation. And you gotta admit that's 89. That's starting in 89. See King Edward, Mr. T, and there go Nate refereeing. I had to start off with my man since he was in the room. That's February of 89. So, you know, this goes way back there in the early 80s. In the 80s.
Hold on, fellas. Hold on. Popped out the room. It's kicking him out. Just hang on 1 second. 1 second. Let me see what the chat doing right quick while he be over here messing with this thing. Big shout out to my man Guy Coasting coming in with a 5-piece. Appreciate the love, fam. Big shout out to my man Mr. Courtney Edwards. What up, fam? Let's see here. Get up here right quick. Okay, my mic is on, so I should still be in.
Check one, check one. What's up there, Courtney Edwards? I see you. I'm gonna get it up first. Right. I don't know if you can see that good, Mike. Can you see that good? Okay, next thing I got to put y'all is Abraham's King David. Another good one. As y'all can see, coming off of Bobby Jr. and Dirty Mary. That Jam and Jim stuff, some good stuff there. Evidently it worked. And he was the actual owner and one who bred our champion Pretty Mama. So he was an old-time dog man. You know, I should have listened to everybody. Right, Armin? I told you. Armin, one of the ones that said, I told you. King David, the boys, you know, look at the names that's going to be showing. I'm going to be showing a few of them just to show you the names of, you know, when y'all be talking about how important the journal was to us. You know, where we can go back and do this. We ain't got to sit back and have nobody clapping about something instead of hearing about it. I like to see it. I get y'all ain't in it, but guess what? I'm gonna make y'all suck on my straw. Okay, they go Ross the Man, Lady Stone. We didn't see that one before. And I look at her, 88, March or April of 88. Yeah, you see David Tamp losing with Miss Yellow in 22 minutes. I see Sunny P. And over here, the Harris too had that Eli stuff. Let's see, he beat David Tant, he beat Durant, Vanna Boys, and Presley. You see that Havana Boys champion Blondie, 2 hours and 5 minutes. 2 hours and 5 minutes. Not only was she a killer, she could stay there. Butch Fox, the breeder, Lady Stone, the folks in the Tar Heels, they knew he was a great breeder, and Lady Stone was his masterpiece. Yeah, and you really thought that he would be worried about putting this bitch on Tornado? You know, we see him on the internet, and we get to know him on the internet. You know, me when I say look at it, his shit, you know, and you're looking at his shit, you be like, okay. Especially back in 1988. And who don't enjoy Rasta Man? Mike say he don't hear me. Thumbs up if you don't hear me. One, can y'all hear me? All right, what you didn't hear none of that stuff I said earlier? Went over that stuff with like I said, Miss Yellow, the Rams Jelly Roll, Havana Boys Champion, Blondie, and Presley's, all recognized Kennels. Sonny P and Harris, the referees. I was speaking on that 2 hour and 5 minutes. Definitely see not only where she could smash one, she could stay in there for the long haul. And that bitch on Tornado. Yeah, it would have made a great man. Enjoy Roster, man, because he way back there in 88 doing this stuff here, y'all. And we got a chance to hang out with Roster, man, kick it with him. Y'all done seen him on different deal. You know, I'm like, man. Every time it moves, it's going. So, well, someone said, okay, well, somebody saying something about laser. I go up here and put laser up. Laser coming out that high Satchmo. Definitely some snooty stuff. I don't know what the dopest champion Mike is. We'll take a look at that later on. But I see he lost to Motor City, Mr. T, 32 minutes. Catch weight. Look, he a big boy. He beat the workshop boys, 34 minutes at 59. He beat Wayne and Guy Lucifer in 23. Yeah, I think we saw that one with Suburbanite Paul with the referee. He's Jack. Bad company him there out of New York. came in and got him. Big Roth was the referee. That was back in 1990. From 89 to 90. I said, some of these guys, you will see, these guys definitely travel. They came out there, whether the Big Apple came to the Motor City or the Motor City went to the Big Apple. Okay, let me go through here. I like to put
Okay. Mo got kicked out again. Hold on. Let me get him back in right quick, y'all. He on a new computer and it's acting funny on him. Hold on 1 second. Let me help you out here. Kick you straight out. I don't know why it's doing that. Mic check. Microphone check 1. Microphone check 1. Check 1.
check 1.
All right, now we be back. I guess we back.
All right, now we be back. I guess we back. I see.
Okay, I was
just getting off. I was just getting ready to get on LA Dream Team's lady bit, a little bit.
turn Mike's mic off.
Turn Mike's mic off. Thank you, fam. Okay, y'all, we back. Like I was saying before, with the LA Dream Teams a little bit. I'm giving it a chance to pop up here, make sure everybody on point. And want you guys to pay attention to that's another thing that I want to be pointing out as I go through them. Check out the breeding, check out their pedigrees, like this one right here. Now, this is a straight out Sorrel's dog. Old boomerang breeding. The part that is not boomerang is also from Maurice Carver. Bred by Ronnie Duhan. campaign in the Southwest. We're talking about 87, 88.
Let me see if I can pull him up from here. Okay, let me get Mo back started up here again because he's trying to do this thing. I think I need to pull it from over here right quick. Come over here and talk to him right quick.
Yeah, man, we're gonna give Mike a chance to make some adjustments here, fellas. You know that don't know what's going on. But remember, that was that soul breed. You know, good dog men. And you see how close them pedigrees is? And that's back in the 80s, 89, 88, 87. Nowhere in the world will we be able to talk about these very lines so close back there in the back, you know, if we didn't have these books to go back there and take a look at them. Me myself, I always thought it was interesting back then. And I would think it would be more interesting being that y'all don't have them to you know, educate yourself on. You know, it'd be good to go through them now. Because a lot of people, you know, who don't have them, don't have that reference. So it's like real quick to hear somebody always scream something about the journal. That's because you ain't got one. You don't know the importance of it because you ain't got one. And why would you have one? Usually, if you ain't a bulldogger, you wouldn't have one. Anybody that's truly bulldogging, they trying to get their hands on that type of shit. You know, for true bulldoggers, for those who don't got it, you know, I figure because you ain't in it. Especially when we talking about what we talking about in the now, we talking about historical shit. You know, some of y'all wasn't even born back then, so it's all this is still historical facts, and we ain't got nobody up here running their damn mouth talking about this and that. You know what I'm saying? We getting you guys an opportunity to see it in writing. If you can read, there ain't much to talk about, but to look at what you're looking at and let's talk about it. So I'm always push that and all those faces of those who wants to always put the journal down in the history of the dog game, because you're talking about a history that I played in, and I'm back here with these old guys. I ain't up here with y'all. And I'm up here around y'all, and I can tell you, y'all, this is what y'all need. And can't too many guys jump up on here and do what you seeing me do. Even if they had the journal, they wouldn't know what they was looking at. They can read, they can understand, and that's not going to be hard to do because it's definitely a steady piece of material. When you look at the dogs, you got a chance to see what was working in the kennels. You get familiarized with the kennel. You start noticing some of these kennels just keep showing up in the journal. Ask yourself why. You know what I'm saying? You know why they're in there, but you start noticing even in the losing categories, you start seeing some in there. You be popping up, but you'll see them going into other kennels. You get a chance to see the competition that was going around. You know? Armin said, Mo, Big Daddy is laser. That's Glenn Wilcox. Right. Hey, I got him in here, Armin. I got old Glenn in here. He got a champion up in here. I'm gonna get to him. Yeah, you know, Armin, you gave me a story about old Glenn. Armin know the story better than I do. You know, Glenn Wilcox had a lot to do with Queen. You know? He was up there in that area, the Michigan area, and he was very fundamental to the dog game up there. A lot of you guys don't know who Mr. Glenn Wilcox is, but he's definitely a contender. Definitely a contender. Yeah, it's on. Okay, he got. I see he got me back up. All right, y'all. Now we're back over here on a little bit on the soul thing. Now we're getting ready to get down into the matches. You see, she went 20 minutes her first time. Her second time, she lost to Scratch and Stitch, that champion. It was champion Mocha or Mona. In an hour and 16, she lost to a champion. She came back and she won at 34 and 23 minutes. And then she went into Tito and the Local Boys. You know, that's a fast lane kennel. She got beaten 22 minutes. Then she came back again. I mean, she lost in 26 minutes, and then she came back and won in 22 minutes. Well, it's almost obvious the dog didn't quit. I'm pretty sure the dog didn't quit. The dog in the level that the dog was in, she was out of her. I can tell you the 2 losses that she had, she probably was a good dog, you know what I'm saying? But she was a B-class dog. The reason why I can say that she was a B-class dog because both Scratch and Stitch, that champion female, she went an hour 16 minutes with, fast lane. Tito and the Local Boys, that blondie bitch, them was fast lane dog men right there. You know, don't take nothing away from the dog that she beat. I'm just pointing out the fact that the dog that she didn't beat were fast lane recognized dog men. Even though they don't have ones by their names, best believe there should be ones by both of those names. That Jonah don't get it right all the time. You know, I don't even think it's about being right. If you're in the book enough and you know the people in the book, you know when there's a one missing. You know that you don't need to take a one if you recognize that the dog man is continuously going to be seen up in there. Okay, while I'm on that McCormick little sis, I'll go ahead and just put that on top of me down. We'll talk about little sis before I jump on away from here right quick, because I like her breeding. You know, I like that breeding. See, that's that Midnight Cowboy. That's that Eli stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's that rough stuff too. You know, 32 pounder, 34. 32 to 34. You know, she went into that sandstorm, bitch, and she beat her in 41 minutes. She went 48 minutes, and the first match was 15 minutes, and this was between 88 and 90. 88 and 90, and she won her matches down in there in the Deep South. But look at her breeding. You know, look how they was breeding that shit. That's a nice bred Eli dog. You know what I'm saying? He said, Mo, you're breaking up. He said, sounds better now. Guy Cotton, he said, if the paperwork is right, I got Mayday 33 times in a double bred bitch off a hog. 33 times double bred off of the hog dog. That's interesting. Somebody asked what hog are you talking about? Man, I can show you one them boys, them most wanted boys. Yeah, they had one with Mayday in it. And he was in there more than, I think he was more than 33 times. I'm talking about like in the first 4 generations, like, you know. Twin, I'm at like the church, like, yes, sir, slow it down. Talk to him. Preach. Okay, am I talking too fast? Pit dog, USMC, Simplified, fam. Yeah, that's for sure. But you lost it again, man. Here you go. Yeah. But that's a nice bred Eli dog. No, I like to keep it going here. Hold on, y'all. You put another one right quick here. The next one we're gonna take a look at that would been in the game forever. Which one? Oh. Here we go. And next one, y'all, we're gonna go with Triple M. You know he's been on the show. That's 88, 89, 90. Had all good rep, 46.5 pounder. The 3 M's won 3 against good competition. A black and white dog from a Jeep Turbine breed, which that's that Miss K. That's that one of them all win pups. Beat Buffalo Soldier in 42 minutes. Bandwagon and Parsons referee. Good referee. Good one to earn your championship on. And yes, Triple M, they did travel. Imagine Buffalo Soldier and Triple M living in 2 different sections of the country. Go back up there. Next one we're gonna go up there, back up in our way. Right here with Outlaw. That old Carpenter stuff. Born, bred, and campaigned in the Great Lakes area. Okay, that's up there in my area right there. You know, that old Carpenter stuff. I know somebody was talking about them Carpenter dogs. You know, you're going to find some of them Carpenter dogs in those Satan dogs. Satan had Carpenter in him. Duke had Carpenter in him. You know, that Tipton's Botron. Tipton is the one that had Rolly. Windy City sold him Rolly. You know, when I know he had Rolly at the time when we had Maytoo's Little May brother. He's the one that had Maytoo's Little May brother. When my KP took him back up north, that's who ended up with him. They got a dog out off the chain and they both ended up dying. But old Chip had Rolly at that time too. Fat Stan, you know, you hear us talk about Fat Stan. You know, you see he got a 1 by his name. He went 1 hour and 38 minutes. Off. You know, we always just, for those who don't know, you know, we didn't told you stories about Fat Stan and you know, his involvement with art. Another time, you know, he's been known to have got on the stand and testified on some people. You know, he was still, don't take nothing away from being a dog, man. It just hurts his integrity. You know, bad enough the rumor about art, but it's worse when it's not a rumor when you get up on the stand where everybody can see you, you know, and yet you testify. But still a good dog, man. Next one would be True Colors. So Outlaw was a good dog. He was a good one. You know, that was it. I see Michigan, I see Cleveland, I see Akron in them 3 matches. Cleveland, Akron, and Michigan. Salute Bulldogs. What's up, Cosmo TV? Oh, the Malcant. Okay. Malcant hard dog. Okay. Yeah, when y'all, you know, that's what I like about looking at these things, because you give a better look at it and a little bit more respect to the situation. Now, here's one that we're gonna look at where it's a Boyle's dog, and you know, it's just hard for me to pass a Boyle's dog. So we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there. Got to go there. You know, I got to keep going by my Boyle's dogs. Okay, you're gonna see as I go through them. I'm gonna keep on stopping by the Boyle's dogs, so y'all can see what made those. You know, why they was such a hot commodity back then. Because you're gonna see them in the champion book. They wasn't winning. They wouldn't be in the book. No. Come on up. RAP's party time. Look, y'all see that pedigree? Can y'all see that? Let me know if y'all can see it clearly. If y'all can see it clearly, somebody just throw a thumbs up. I need one. Let me know y'all can see it. Okay. Here's one. You know, like I said, you don't see no ones on there anywhere. But I can tell you now, Hardlines would be a 1 in that World Ginger Importers lady. All those should have been 1s. But look at that. Nice Bull's dog right there. You don't hear too many people talking about that one. You know, a 4-time winner, still active in the Deep South from one of the more popular bloodlines of the day. We're talking about from 89 to 91. Thank you, MB4. You notice that? Over here, Hunter, he down here my way. RAP is down here my way. Another good Boyle's dog, which we hear little about. That one. Okay, you know me, I got it, you know, if I'm gonna be hanging around the Boyle's dogs, I'm gonna go down here and check out my Eli shit. I gotta show you these Bulldogs here. You know, these is common names. Y'all know these names. Look at the pedigrees, you know the names. These are dogs that, you know, with these pedigrees, and we don't hear nothing about these dogs today. But these is winners. Look at the pedigrees. We ain't ran into a shabby pedigree yet. Okay? a 33 and a half, a female catch weight. I can't tell you what a female catch weight is. They probably came in with at their best weight, basically. You could tell she must have been a good one. Because they stuck around a little bit. You know, you see the one, but you don't see regular referee, but we got 89 to 90. The point is, you know, she was in the middle southern part of the country, and she was matched. The first one went 26 minutes, second one went 57. The third one went 30 at 33 and a half, went an hour and 2 minutes. So she had some games in it, but look how she bred. That's a damn good breed. Got that low posse buster crossed into some of that snooty shit. You know, now we're gonna go down here. We're gonna check out the Sorrel dog. We've been looking at the Sorrel dog. They didn't look too good that last one, so we're gonna fix that.
That was Bart. That's
Smelling them brother.
Smelling them brother. And didn't Pope have?
He had blue eyes.
Blue eyes, right? But he off Bart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, he was off of Snoopy.
Okay.
Yeah, he was off of Snoopy. Remember when I seen him at Alice Brewer's, that little same dog Poe had. He was off of Snoopy.
I swear Bart was on Pope's yard. That red and white motherfucker.
No,
he was old as hell though.
No, it wasn't Bart. No, Kenzie Woods had Bart, but you know, you would expect him to, because you know him and Kenzie were good friends.
Yeah.
But Bart, you talking about is Dusty Daddy.
Yeah,
and
that's
Bert.
Bert.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's who we're talking about. All right, here go the Sorrel dog, y'all. We gonna clean it up a little bit. Go just a little bit, so I can read about it. You know, he's doing just a little bit better. Another good bred Sorrel dog. Another good one, Peanut. You know, almost bred the same way. It might be. No, I don't know if it's bred. It could be. It could be the same. I know it was bred by Jahan. Old Peanut come off of that Gator son, crossed with Jahan's Mean Gene. At 31, she went 27, an hour and 21 and 26. You know, you don't see no marks on the referee. You don't see no marks on the dog. But so what? You know, remember I said about the other one? I said it was a class B. You know what I mean? I would honestly have to say that this would be a class B for me too. Not because of the fact that the other dog was a class B. When she went in the fast lane dog, she lost. This dog didn't go into the dogs of the caliber that the other dog went into. You know what I'm saying? Not taking nothing away from that line. But hey, this dog is still a champion. You know, you don't see no class A fast lane kennel there. But give her, you know, she is class B. She can win in the class B category. Fast lane, everybody can't make it in the fast lane. The only way you're going to find out is you got to put them out there to find out. But one thing for damn sure, she won 3 in the tough Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas area, and that's naming 3 of them. So she did that in 3 different sections, regardless of who they are. She definitely traveled to get it. You definitely had to travel to get it. Because that is right, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas. Huh. So I would have to put a steer on a high class B. A high class B. You know, I like to see her do some Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas with some class A shit. You know, it would be nice. But I'm gonna put her where I feel like she should be with no disrespect. Peanut, good dog. Soul stuff was working. It was being used. So don't go hating if it's being used. Okay? And she didn't lose. So, hey, she did it all in 1 year. She did it all in 1 year. That's a good one. And then while y'all looking at them, as we looking at the pedigree, okay, Pit Dog said she won there and went right back out. Okay, you must be talking about somebody else. She won, then went right back again. I'd say maybe a bit better dog, but look, her third, give her 2 months off. And she got some rest. Okay. Stay cold. Okay, guys, here we go. Yeah, them still good areas though, especially when you're traveling. When you're traveling, if you don't know, sometimes you just traveling for the weight. If you're going to be choosy, because calling the weight can get you in trouble and calling the weight can get you out of trouble. Depends on who's available at the time you calling your weight, We're going to go deeper too. So. Okay, this one right here, this is what it said. That's St. Pierre Pepper. St. Pierre Kennels Pepper. It's been a long time since the pure Kobe bloodline got on a championship list. In recent years, this bloodline has been used more or less as an outcross. However, at one time, it was the most successful bloodline in the country, in the history of the breed, and was the foundation stock of many great kennels. The foundation of many great kennels. We know that. We've seen that. And this is back in 89 to 92. 89 to 92. Bayou should have got a 1. She beat that one in 16 minutes. She beat Harper's Miss Piggy. Rubber referee, 16 minutes. At 39, she beat Winchester, Kennels, Minnie in 49 minutes. That's a fast lane kennel. And then she beat Island Kennels in 18 minutes. 16, 49 to a reputable kennel, 18. Mr. Bill referee, Red Lion Lane referee, Frank P referee, all reputable referees. From 89 to 92, 4-time winner, straight Kobe, y'all. Oh yeah, straight order cook. Even at 49, boy, you can believe, probably a beat down just on a game dog. You can expect a little more when you see a 1 there, when you compare it to the ones you don't see a 1, though, that's just the mind working. You know what I'm saying? You give a little bit more, prop to the ones. Ones don't make you good kennels, it just make you recognize kennels. And when you see yourself up in these damn books of champions and you see these common kennels that keep popping up, you know what I'm saying? When you do find them down in that loser category, you might see some dog down there got a 2 and ain't a champion. It's just the level of the kennel and there as far as pertaining to the dog that it went into. Next one, Pancho Mike. Keep them again. I want you to pay attention to. I'm not gonna sit on top of my. Yep, pay attention to the pedigrees. Just pay attention to the pedigrees. Another good pedigree right here.
A black dog 3-time winner in the South from one of the more popular bloodlines of the late 80s. This dog won from 89 to 90. You know, 42 weight. Let me just admire the pedigree a little bit. You got Spike up in there. You got Pedro. You know, just a good damn line of dogs right there. You got that Brewer Snooty girl, knowing that coming down off the Mim stuff. That's a good cross. Good cross. You know what I mean? Beat Zero in 58 minutes and 42. It beat Helms, Wesley, a recognized kid in 35 minutes. It beat Charlie's Bald Horse in 1 hour and 10 minutes at 41. Okay. Another dog added to Poncho's registering merit points. Let's not forget that. He is a Sporting Dog Journal champion. I'm pretty sure not a lot of guys know much about Ray's Poncho, but we do know about Snake Man's grand champion Pedro. Here's one of his offsprings. Okay, look at the pedigree. Good pedigree. Still looking at a good dog. Kobe. We got Snooty. Eli. Good cross. Okay. Radar Man. Here's another good one. We're going to sit there. We're going to admire the pedigree first, guys. Look at that pedigree. It's just look at how he bred first. Let's just look at how I bred. You know, it's not very often, you know, we always talk about Red Boy. But I'm always saying, man, Red Boy is the only line that you can damn near line breed, inbreed the hell out of that shit, and it really never loses its touch. I mean, we way back here in 89, and we can say the same thing about the Red Boy dogs all the way up to far as I can remember. So that means we down there adding another 20 years to what I remember. That I can still say that over 20 years later, that Red Boy is just got that staying power, man, as far as when it comes to genetics all around. Okay, this is Kenton's Radar Man. About as inbred Red Boy as you can get. After winning 4 times against tough competition, he lost his bid for grand championship in his longest match. He beat all the ones. Look at all the ones he beat. He beat Fletcher Chavis. He beat Cunningham. He beat Supernat, Larry Combs. And he beat Pat. He beat Fletcher Chavis in 37 minutes, beat the Cunninghams in 56 minutes. He beat Supernat in 26 minutes. He beat Pat in 40 minutes. But he lost to Strauss Miko in 1 hour and 2 minutes. Pat refereed it. 1 hour and 2 minutes. I can guarantee you it wasn't gameless to beat him. I can guarantee you, it was not gameless to beat that dog. You know, I think that dog that they bought was a rough-ass dog. And that must have been a rough-ass match. And the reason why I say that, because she handled game dogs. I mean, every one of these bulldogs in them first 4 matches were bulldogs. So you can tell she had ability. You got Mountain Man being the referee. You got Miller down there, and you got Pack. So, you know, this is a fast lane bulldog. It happens. Making grand champion is not an easy task. And we're talking about an inbred Red Boy dog. You know? Let's see. See, Redman is Deacon and Hunter Red's brother. Okay. Hold on, let me just put it up here. Anthropology says Redman is Deacon and Hunter Red's brother. Bred 8 times on Red Boy. The sire Bingo is a 5-time inbred son of Red Boy that beat a champion. The mom Peaches also passed that potency. Okay. That's a good one. Okay, Mike. I'm trying to make sure I keep everybody straight on here. Hope I ain't missing nobody. IBM and his daddy cracker was bred to San Pierre Pepper. I'm gonna put that up there, Andrew, since I missed it. IBM or his daddy cracker was bred to San Pierre Pepper. No, good one. Thank you, man. I like that info. Pass it on. Mad Doctor, what kind of dog are you running? Okay. They pick him up. Okay. Okay, guys. She go, Nicholas, you and Mad Doctor, ain't y'all on the same hood, bro? Ain't y'all on the same set? Y'all be nice to each other. Y'all on the same set. Y'all can down there walk down the street and see each other. All right, now, let's go. Let's keep it moving. Okay, this one right here, guys, this gonna be Hillbilly Spanky Dan. Why'd I bring up Spanky Dan? Because Spanky Dan is another one off of Gardner Spike. You know, look at him. His first match was in 87. He went for his championship in 90. 90. Okay? Well, you know, if he got a 2 in 90, because he beat the Buttons dog in 3 hours and 2 minutes. Hoffman was the referee. He went 1 hour and 32 minutes. He beat Wood and Company. You know, that Lloyd Button must have been a hell of a good match. 3 hours and 2 minutes. Good referee. He got a 2 for that one. Look, 2.5 years between his second and his third. Apparently, the long layoff didn't affect him adversely since he went over 3 hours to win his championship. Well, I mean, if you look how he bred, you know what I'm saying? He had it in him. He had it in him. That's for sure. Okay, we're gonna run up on another. We're gonna go up on another Souls dog, y'all. We got another Souls dog. Let's see if we can upgrade. See if we got any upgrade going on. We don't see much upgrade yet, but we got one. We got another Souls dog. All right, here we go. G&G Spitfire. Coming down off of that Uncle Buzz stuff. Good Souls cross. Surreal cross. A straight surreal bloodline, but I don't know a thing about the competition or the judges. Okay, so we down there. We got what, 3 down there, 3 in the B side of the Soul dogs that we do see champions off of. Not knocking Souls in them because it ain't they dog. They're a state of line, a dog, but hey, they in the book. Like Jack said, he don't know nothing about the dogs or the competitors in the dogs that they use. So, you know, he just making that clear. He has a habit of doing that on some of these matches. You know, and he only do it on those that he be concerned about. You know what I mean? But you'll see in here, he will do that right there, make that type of statement. I don't know nothing about the dog or the dog people involved or the judges. So, you know, we done ran across 3 type red Surreal dogs, and we ain't got one in the A class yet. Hopefully before we done tonight, we might catch one in the A class. Right now, we got 3 of them in the B class. Not taking nothing away from the dog. We just talking about competition, and there's levels to this shit. So I'm not gonna hide from the level just because this is a surreal dog. Remember now, you know, this is how you can see the shit. When you can see it, you ain't listening to somebody. When somebody is in here running their mouth, they swear them down, throw that pedigree up on pairs online out here to y'all, and y'all be thinking that dog was the truth. Dog ain't with nobody. Especially if they didn't have it in the damn journal. Imagine G&G up here talking about their dog. All they got to do is show you their certificate. You know? Well, they ain't got no certificate. What they just standing there, they definitely got a champion. But they barking like they got a world beater. You know, we bring the book out and be like, oh, man, we got your record. We see what you beat, bro. You won, but you ain't beat shit. Well, you know, when Jack got the question, when Jack don't know shit, you know, we can't, all this smack you was talking, we get the book, we see something totally different. Capper. But at least you in the book, so we ain't gonna take that away from you. You're gonna give your points for that. At least you in the book. You didn't grab that book so damn quick because this shit what we did when we grabbed it and found you. You know, but at least it's better to find them than to listen to somebody running their damn mouth and ain't got nothing to show for it. And I'm sitting here showing you shit, but you think that conversation, this person ain't got nothing to do but run his mouth. You know, y'all would put that over some shit that you can see for yourself. Then y'all the ones got the damn problem. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm gonna always be quick to point that out. You know, that's that. Don't talk about it. Be about it. We don't want to hear your mouth. Give us something to read or see. Give us somebody other than you talking. Next one coming up. Mau Stein. Yeah, there go Mau's dog. Mau Stein. Line bred on that was a very popular stud several years ago. Champion Panama Red. A lot of this bloodline goes back to the dogs of Earl Tudor. Crockett and Tubbs, it should have been a 1. Grim Reaper, you know, we know Grim Reaper. That's a Michigan dog. He beat him in 28 minutes. He beat Crockett and Tubbs in 57 minutes. Butch is a recognized referee. Mickey's Bone Crusher. We seen that match. Yeah, we seen the Bone Crusher match. I seen when Stein won his championship. Mr. Bill was the referee. Won an hour and 33 minutes. It was a hell of a match, too. Real good match. It was a real good match. That Bone Crusher dog was a good dog. But boy, it's hard to beat a bulldog. It's hard to beat a bulldog. And that's what it came down to. Dog was a good dog, but he was on a bulldog. Two good dogs. Stein went on to produce Grand Champion Snubby. And he also had a little made brother bred just like him from a second breeding. He went on to win his championship, bred just like Stein. He was a second breed. He went on to become a champion himself. He was the one to beat Judo his first match. You know, I don't know if it's a typical in one of the older books, but from 89 to 90, yeah, we were doing this shit back in the 80s. Our damn stuff. But yeah, it was his little mate brother that beat Judo. He came in there at 46, and we bought Judo in there at 46. And Judo was really 35 pounds. That's when we got our ass spanked. You know, ended up picking him up, but we came back. But yeah, it was his little mate brother who went on to become a champion.
He was called Red, too.
Yeah, he was. He was called Red. Yeah,
Red
Dog.
Red Dog.
Champion Red Dog. Jethro's Champion Red Dog. Okay. Ain't nobody got any questions? Let me see. More Mike. Let's take a trip and hang out. Okay. Guy Coach Son says, Mike and Mo, let's take a trip and hang out. Make my life complete. Then I will close the cassette and make a lot of people happy. Tell us when you want to go hang out, man. We'll make it happen, Gavin. Oh, that would be an enjoyable moment. We go turn around. Yeah, it seems. Okay, let me see. It seems Macho Buck, Crow, and Ship seem to be like Jeep, Frisco, and Mayday as far as being bred a ton and produced well on a scale. Well, I wouldn't say they seem like Jeep or Frisco or Mayday because they're not. Macho Buck and Crow and Ship is nowhere close to be bred a lot of times and and produced like Jeep, Frisco, and Mayday when them the top 5 dogs of all time. All time. We'll give them their props, but they're not like Jeep, Frisco, and Mayday, Anthro. Just for on a scale. We dealing with 2 different scales here, kid. Macho Buck, yes, produce good dogs. Crow produce good dogs. Ship Dog, yeah, produce. We got a female off of Ship. And she's a good producer her damn self. So you're right about that, but they're not up to that level for damn sure. And they've been bred a bunch of times to get to that level if they were just as good as those dogs. Like you said, they were bred a bunch of times, but they're not on the same scale of those that Jeep and Frisco and Mayday playing. That's a good one, dog. Good comment. On scale as far as a bunch, not a grade. I understand what you're saying, Andrew. I understand you said on a scale as far as a bunch of times, not a grade. You're right. Or even when I say a bunch of times, all dogs were bred a bunch of times. All the dogs you spoke on was bred a bunch of times. And when I don't even think we even got to talk about the grade. We just talking about the results. all the dogs were bred a bunch of time, and when the results come, you know, they did have their share of winners, but you know, in comparison, you know, what my point is, I don't really think it was much about the amount of dogs or the grade. It's just a comparison of those 3 dogs compared to those other 3 dogs. You know, I just can't see where when it comes to breeding, whether it's a few times or a lot of times, that there's any comparison into them, fam. That's all. I got your point. I got your point, though. The next one gonna be Plymouth Lion Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo is another nice dog. Look how he's bred, coming down off of Mountain Man. Another good breed. You know, just about a pure Bully Son Eli Jr. bloodline that you could find. He won 3 in the rough Florida area. He beat Skinny Man in 58 minutes. He beat B. Williams, Mr. Baker, in 17 minutes. Evander Daniel refereed that one. And then you have Red Kennels Carlos, another good kennel. He beat him in 29 minutes. Pretty much, come on, we can't put nothing by this dog. I bet you he was rough. From the look at the time, you can tell he was rough.
Most of them Eli dogs are.
Most of them Eli dogs are. I mean, he did good going 57 minutes. I bet he was beating up a down dog in about 40 minutes. Probably a game dog too. You know what I mean? MB here. Okay. Okay, Anthro. Here, let me put you up again, friend. You know, I'm always show you because you always say some interesting shit. MB, Crow, and Ship are the 3 dominant lions of the last quarter century, and called because they were bred on a ton of blood will be around for some time, like Jeep, Frisco, and Mayday. And you're right. Like I said, you're right. Remember, I do have Macho Buck in our line, and we do have Ship dogs. So I have no disagreement with you, but when I say I have Macho Buck dog and I have Ship, I just told you we got a bitch off of Ship, and she has 2 good litters out there. So I definitely understand. But when we also then had the other dogs that you've spoken on, you know what I mean? When it comes to pedigree, Jeep and Mayday, in which we got a touch of everything in the Macho Buck stuff. You know what I'm saying? They probably will be around, but I can still grab Mayday dogs. I can still grab Frisco dogs, and we can still find Jeep dogs out here. You know, and to me, they're more out there than the 3 dogs that you actually named. I would still say there's still a great line of Mayday dogs and a great line of Frisco dogs and a great line of Jeep dogs still around. You know, I mean, in just the line itself. Remember, a lot of these crosses consist of all 3 dogs now. Mayday, Jeep, and Frisco. Remember, we just did a show about that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely see you're right though. If it ain't doing good on all y'all, why would I be talking about it? You know, I know you're on the right track because, you know, I can talk about it right along with you because I didn't have all of them. Only one I've never had, or ever had one of them type of dog I didn't feed was a Crow dog. I fed a Mayday dog and I fed a Ship dog. I fed an Eli dog. I fed a Jeep dog. I fed a Mayday dog. And I fed a Frisco dog. You know? Yeah, they are still around. You ain't out there to know. Okay? Ain't still around. Well, see, because you don't know. You wouldn't know that. Man, doctor, I didn't know it was you. I wouldn't even answer that because I don't want to have to hear your mouth. You don't know how to accept when you're wrong. So I'm just going to leave it right there. I didn't even know it was you. I wouldn't even bother you, fam. but they are still around. If we feeding it, what do you think? If we feeding it, what do you think? I just told you what we feeding. I'm pretty sure we're gonna leave it right there. All right, y'all. We got Texas up here now, guys. You know, we didn't seen this pedigree before. You know, and I'm gonna put it like this: Texas was a bad dog. I can just honestly say that much about Texas. Okay, and when you got fast lane, you know, when you got fast lane, you got one. And Texas was out there. He was out there. He was out there. And when you out there like that, you gonna bring the heat. You going to bring the heat. And Roadblock was one of them. I mean, look at his pedigree. You don't see no champion. You see Kirkland in there. We got to give it to Kirkland. Yeah, he is a great producer. He was a good dog, man. And, you know, he worked with what he had, but he put a bad motherfucker on the ground. Well, you can't take nothing away from Kirkland because that's his shit. He put one together. And he wasn't spending a lot of time now. He spent some time when he went into Norman. Went into Norman Kimmer. I mean, you talking about two of the best dog men down in that area. Norman Kimmer and Mr. Kirkland, them two good dog men. So look, one thing that Mr. Kimmer did, he showed him that it was going to take a game one to beat him, and Texas beat him. So he wasn't just a killer. He wasn't just a killer. He beat his first one in 33 minutes. He beat his second one in 1 hour and 15 minutes. He beat his third one in 39 minutes. He beat his fourth one in 28 minutes. He won his grand championship in 2 hours and 3 minutes. Earned that. He went for number 6 at 39. He won that in 30 minutes. And we're talking about from 1990 to 92, this dog went 7 times. 7 times now. From 1990 to 1992, Texas went 7 times. And he went 1 hour and 12 with Roadblock's Joey. Joey won his grand championship, beating grand champion Texas. You know? You know what I mean? You know, you got to look at the referees. Oh, we got Joey down at the bottom. He got 7 referees, and all 7 of them recognized referees. Oh, I forgot. Oh, A. Wayne. I forgot the A. Wayne. I'm pretty sure A. Wayne was a recognized referee with Norman Kimmer and Kirkland going in the box together. I'm pretty sure them two didn't have no rookie. You know, he probably going to get a damn star by his name for just having the opportunity to be a nobody, you know, and get a chance to referee such a great match. So just his name sitting up there under the referee, you know, he gonna get a star. If he ever do that again, you might find him in there with the star from that point on. It didn't take him but one show to make him recognizable. You know what I'm saying? Because he judged a great match between 2 great dog men. Now that's the class of the South right there. You know, Joey coming down, that was that North run, you know. You know, when anytime you see up north come down to Texas, we coming with a bulldog. You know, I'm just keeping it real with you. They don't just come down here for pleasure. They ain't gonna even come if they ain't coming with a bulldog. Because you don't come half-ass down to Texas. And I've seen Texas come up there to Michigan. You know, it was a Texas dog that went in the Skins. Skins beat him. I seen one of them. Skin won a championship on the Texas dog, like I said. I seen Suburban Night Paul. Them boys came up there to Michigan with that Texas bitch. And she didn't last long. She lasted 40 minutes with Suburban Night Paul's grand champion Sable. She won a grand championship on a Texas dog. You know, I can talk about Mallory. You know, she was deep south. You know, they went over there to Texas and beat Mallory. Mallory going for a grand championship dismissing dogs. So you best believe when you go into Texas, you better have a bulldog. Because that's what it takes if you want to win in Texas or win against a Texas dog. You got to have a bulldog. I mean, you got kennels down there, boy. That, hey, and they like their killers. But hey, anybody got any comments before I keep it moving, man? My man Horsepower said 8 hours. 8 hours of box time. 8 hours of box time. You know what I mean? Yeah, that is a lot of time, man. A lot of good wear and tear. You know? Let me see. I can't read it. That's mad. Now I'm trying to figure out, y'all. Was he a Michigan man or was he down there in the Cajun country? You know, I mean, I see him a lot up in the Michigan area. So was he up in the Michigan area and then moved down in the Cajun country? Anybody know? Horsepower said, good ass dog is just what it is. Salute, twin, from the dark. That's right, baby. That's that dark side creeping in tonight. Glad to see you sliding in there, fam. We see you. All right, y'all. Now y'all know why I'm asking about this set. Okay? Because I know that Bunsen Company stuff, you know, that New York, you know, and I know a lot of matches, like even in this one here, that a lot of these guys was in the up in the Michigan area. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to know, where was this set from? You know, I actually thought he was from Ohio, my personal opinion. You know, because he been down in our spot like he lived there sometimes. Okay, so he was from the D, Cosmo, right? He was from the D. Okay, because I was about to say, a lot of guys be talking like he was down there in the Cajun country, and I'm like, I wonder if we talking about the same Doucette. Because I know back in the day, that man damn near lived up there in Michigan, in Ohio. You know, he was at a lot of our shows. refereeing and everything. So, you know, I hear a lot of people talking like he was down there in the Cajun country. So I just wanted to make, you know, reconfirm. You know, maybe I thought maybe I might have been wrong, you know. But look at this one here. Oh, bang bang. Like you want to see a bad motherfucker? You like if you knew anything about New York, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, that's just some of that Giroux shit in action. I keep telling you that Andre Giroux, a bad man with them dogs. And Lord help the game when Andre Giroux and Adi Stevens start making crosses. I said that to you guys before. Okay, there's two different Deuce. It's Doucette and Doucette. Yeah, I know. I got you, I got you, baby boy. Yes, sir. So the one, the Doucette, I guess, however you say it, he is the Cajun. You know, okay. What up, fam? Just had to let you know I see ya. I see ya. Okay? All right, look at his matches, man. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to take a look at the matches, man. My boy went 15 minutes, 43 minutes, 55 minutes, 25 minutes, and won the championship in 4 minutes. And look how low they pulled him. They pulled him all the way down to 40. I can tell you that bottom, I know that bottom has some killer in it. I mean, with New York alone in it, you know, I know that bottom has some killer in it. I bet you the dog was rougher than all outdoors. That dog's weight, he went from 89 to 91. Now, even though we don't see no big bad kennels up in there, you know, and he probably was a fast lane dog based on the kennels that I do see up in there, Doucette, Bounty Hunter, Desmond, you know. I don't see no stars by these names, but there should be stars by these names. So you're a little cheap on the stars, you're a little cheap on the ones. But I can reassure you that he was every bit a 6-time winner. He didn't lose. No, yes he did lose. That's why he's not a grand champion. Desmond Gator in 29 minutes in the 6th match reported in 92. Okay, but that's 5. And he didn't get his grand championship. See, that's one that you know he lost to Desmond. See that, Mike? So he lost to Desmond in 29 minutes. That's why he ain't no grand champion. He lost to Desmond Gator in 29 minutes. Desmond refereed his last match. He figured, well, I got the right bulldog to put on this ass. Because he came back and went right at him. You know, Burns took a shot at him. He lost in 43. You know, so but whatever Desmond bought for his ass to beat him in 29 minutes, boy, he must have had a bad one. I think that number 2. Yeah, let me go. He said number 2, was he by a family member or what? When he beat Bonds in them, he probably was. But if you know Bonds and them, you know, Bonds and Company, they were definitely a reputable kennel. That's why he got that one by his name. You know, Bonds and Company is definitely a reputable kennel. And then Bonds also owned that New York dog. You know what I'm saying? That champion New York. You know, that tells you a lot right there. You know? And then they was, look, Bonds and them tried to beat him. He using his shit, but he trying to beat the man. Did you pick up on that one? Yes, sir. You know, he look, Bond tried to get him. Well, he paid for it. But that's that bulldogging. That's how to do when you're bulldogging. Yeah, we're going to check out our bodacious. Another Eli dog. Hit her up. Here's another good dog. Another Bulls dog. This dog we went between 89 and 90. Hey, we got a vintage match on his on Santos Fred Black. You know, that was a vintage match. So look, that dog was out there from 88 to 90. He won his fourth. When they say vintage, that's one that it goes ahead of 88. So somewhere in there they had to fix that. The one he lost to Hooterville boy Festus. Boston Black, that could be Boston Black up there being the referee. I know Headhunter, that's a Florida man there. You know, the Hooterville boys, I think they Florida too. Yeah, what I see, we're in the Florida area. One of the more popular bloodlines of the day, 1-3 and lost one in tough North Florida areas. Yeah, I knew that was Florida. But that's a Bulls dog. You know, 37, 36, 38. You know, when he did get to work, he got to work. He won just as quick as he lost. Won in 35 minutes, won in 51 minutes. He lost in 24 minutes and won in 36 minutes. And I'm telling you, the vintage match means it's before the first match. So that last match was probably his last match over there in November, December of 90. And he which one are you talking about? The vintage match? Yeah, as I said, 47 minutes in his last match. Okay, I'm talking about the one he lost. That vintage match is before the first match.
Yeah, but you said 36 minutes. 36 up there.
Oh, okay. So let me make sure I got it right again, y'all. I said 35 minutes, 51 minutes. He lost in 24 minutes, and he won in 47 minutes. But that 47 is a vintage match where it goes back to it was done in April, probably March, April of 88. That's why he called it vintage, because it didn't come in order. Read your books, read your lesson. Guy coach said you lose your books, you lose your lesson. It's a good point. You lose your book, you lose your record. You're going straight to STP. And Dr. Smith dropped the link. Man, doctor, I hear you, baby. I'm busy. All right, y'all, we're going right after Black Pass. Another STB fan favorite. Coming up, Cherokee Kennels Order Jr. Cherokee Kennels is Ron Newman, for those who don't know. Ron John. As you can tell, the Jersey boys had him first. Jersey boys called him Tasmanian. He won in 39 and 58 minutes for Van Chico being the ref. He beat STP. I guess STP bought him after that ass whooping, because he beat STP in 59 minutes. So he got a 2 for that. You know, must have been a good match. You know, in 59 minutes, you know, Black Pass was a nice dog too. And Pierre's Ultra, he won that one in 45 minutes. All reputable kennels. Fast lane dog. A black dog from before the bleeding. Lion bred on the famous all-round bitch Dirty Mary. Winning all 3 in the Northeast. All 3 in the Northeast. Okay. You know, you got y'all see STP. I passed him a couple ones, but I think, you know, I think that he got a lot of dogs up in here too, y'all. That's one thing y'all gonna be seeing. STP is a busy man. I passed 2 of them. They wasn't really none of the greater dogs. Okay, here's one we don't hardly ever hear about. One is Grand Champion Bucks, points on his register and merit list. You know? Went down between 91 and 92. Look at that weight. He a big boy. A big boy. Where all that big shit come from? Must have came down off that Irish Jerry shit down there. Well, Maggie wasn't a big dog. That champion little George, he might have been the big dog, but that's a big boy right there. Pit weight 56, 57, 57 and a half, 58. Reputable dog, man. You know, he beat Pepsi in 38 minutes. He beat the Clan Bar Boys in 30 minutes. He beat Dusty in 59 minutes. And then he beat Samson. And he beat him. I guess they must have sold him. STP must have sold him. And he won another one after STP sold him in 1 hour and 5 minutes. Another good one. I mean, good bread too now. Can't take nothing away from the breeding. You see how STP like breeding his shit. Take a good look at the way he breeding his shit down. You see how he breeding it. You know, he got a yard full of champions. You know, I would expect nothing less, right? Mm-hmm. Another one of them points Grand Champion Bucks showing up right there. You see, Buck ain't even all him on these books yet. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, you right though, Pit Dog. Pit Dog says, grand champion to a daughter of two champions, not rocket science. And you're right. You know, you making moves like that, you both to get something, especially when it's STP. And you're doing it right there on the yard. He's doing that shit on the yard. Okay, guys, we got one right here. H&S's Blinky, off that Brothers Champion Handsome, an Indian Bolio dog, coming down off that Patrick Bony Macaroni. This dog 1-3 in Holland, so he ain't even in the country. You know, we don't know much about what he beat, but he went 1 hour 33, 55, and 2 hours and 10 minutes over there in Holland. 1 hour and 20, 1 hour and 23, 55, and 2 hours and 10 minutes. Double bred champion Handsome. Some more of that Bolio up close. Here's our next one right here. Roadblocks boss man. He's not even a grand champion yet in this book. Not even a grand champion yet in this book. That's Roadblocks boss man. 48-pounder. I told you, another destroyer. One of them bulldogs, that bulldog we got away with that night. Down at Abraham's and them. He was the dog that we got away with. Bob, Larry, all them guys got busted that night. But that's the one that made it through. He went on to become a grand champion. He beat the SWAT team's Hector in 38 minutes. He beat the Mississippi boys in 36 minutes. He beat Dustin the Bounty Hunter in 44 minutes. And he beat Tipton and Fat Stan, Shy Boy, in 46 minutes. We seen that one. We seen the Tipton and Fat Stan match, Shy Boy. You know what I'm saying? And you see Fat Stan in the Bounty against Bucky. We saw that one too. You know, Mississippi came up in there and went after him in that 36 minute when the Mississippi boys had came up. That's Pac-Man. Too many of you guys only, I think the Motortown boys and Ohio boys in that area, you know, we all know Pac-Man. Pac-Man was another great dog, man. You know, Grim Reaper, you know, he had what was his name? Waldo. I think it was Waldo that Joey beat him. He beat his champ. Joey beat his champion. Tipton is the one that I told y'all had Rolly when Windy City had sold Rolly. You know, Rolly died on Tipton's yard. And, you know, we hear us talk about Fat Stan and them. Fat Stan referee that thought he had one for his ass. Well, I can tell you this much. He lasted longer than everybody else at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? He lasted longer than everybody else at that point in time. Boss Man ended up being on the cover of the Sporting Dog Journal just the same as well. That was from 90 to 91. That's back in the day. Yeah, y'all see how he was bred though, right? You know, like Jack said, that Paul McPherson, he was from Paul McPherson breeding, which was basically Bully's son Eli Jr. He went to the cold country way up north and won 4. So far. You know, back then it was so far. He went on to become grand champion boss, man. There's so many more we can go through. I'm going to get it come show. All right, guys, I'm going to get down here to these final pages. I'm going to pick out some real ones here before I call it a day.
Hey, what are you doing about? Tell them what you do this.
The reason why I go through these is because in this room here, I hate talking about shit. You know what I mean? To me, when I'm talking about a dog, I feel like I'm sounding like everybody else who whines because they ain't in the journal. Who be the only ones can talk about how good they dogs is, and all we have to listen is to listen to them talk. We can't find you in the journal. All we got to go on is you talking. See, that's why I do this with the book. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I'd rather read it than hear somebody talk about it. It gives me clarification and understanding better when I can take what you're saying and look for myself. And then I can understand you better than when the only thing I'm hearing coming out your mouth is what you talking about, and can't get nobody else to coordinate or verify, which is so much of that out here in the game today that I'm gonna stop going for that shit. There's so much of that going on already. I ain't gonna keep doing that in my room. Y'all gonna see a lot more journals popping up in my room. Y'all gonna see a lot more different bulldog books in my room. Because this day and age with all this clapping, if you ain't in there where we can read it, guess what? I'm gonna put very value to it. Because what I do by showing y'all what's in this journal carries more weight and more value than anybody sitting there just running their damn mouth and ain't in the book. With all these people we seeing in this book and you ain't in there, we can't even bump into your ass going into none of these top-ranked kennels. You don't gotta put your name in there. You go into a top-ranked kennel, they're gonna make damn sure they put your ass in there if you lost to them. Okay? My thing is, I'm getting away from that because I see too much of that already out there. I'm gonna let everybody else have that out there. Me, I'm gonna start putting shit out there that y'all can see. Y'all can make decisions on. So when somebody start running their mouth about what you done seen, you know, they can either coordinate what you done read, or if it don't coordinate to what you done read, you know, this is how you know that they on some shit. You know, not always who you beat or how you beat them. You know, let me see. You know, I want to see and make sure what you're telling me is real. That's like y'all going out buying puppies. You go to somebody's yard, they got the baddest dog in the damn world. To let them tell it, they sound like Chico. They got the best Mayday shit ever on the earth. But can you give me some reference of somebody else that can say that? Can I read that? Why your shit's so great? Or why am I constantly talking about it? Remember when I called Chico out about all that Mexican shit that he was winning over there, because I know that shit that he was winning with was winning over here. All that great shit that he claimed to have was happening over in a country that we couldn't verify. Not taking nothing away from him, but goddamn, we can't verify nothing. You mean to tell me the only reference we got is to listen to him running his mouth? I call that capping. When you doing that and you ain't got nothing to stand on, then that's capping, because we ain't seeing none of that shit over here. Shit's so great in Mexico, but they never became great over here. I'm checking my chat. They say I'm mad about you crashing out, buddy. Well, I guess y'all can't mess with him. Y'all leave my man alone. Y'all know how Mad Doctor is. Y'all shouldn't even be. Y'all should let Mad Doctor do his thing, man. Mad Doctor, he come in these rooms to have fun. Don't put too much in the Mad Doctor. He gonna be Mad Doctor anyway. Because where he at? Now let's keep it moving here. Hey, Pit Dog said Chico Lopez got that gift of gab. Yeah, to the unknowingly, he got a gift of gab. I guarantee you, after my KP talked to Terrence, and my KP and Terrence is good friends. When he got done talking about Chico, he damn near sold that dog. He showed damn they got ready to sell him. No, you don't gotta sell them. They look good. You ain't no dog body. Them dogs look good. You need to keep that pretty shit. Because he ain't no dog body, but one thing you got to say about them dogs Chico did have, they had winning bodies for the confirmation. You can't take that away from him. Chico Lopez has some nice built dogs. Them Buck dogs was built real good. Buck made their crosses. They turned into some nice, beautiful built dogs. The buildings, the way they look, they'll fool you. You think you got some monsters there. You just don't know. If you ain't doing nothing with them, put them in a show. That's why Chico was always telling y'all, don't fight my shit. Don't you dare fight my shit. Because he know that shit wasn't worth fighting anyway. So he's telling you that. At the same time, he's got the best dogs in the world. Like, he the only one can make them the best dogs in the world. Y'all can't. So y'all don't fight him. He's not selling to y'all to fight him. That's how he was back then. Here go the Jersey boys. Jersey boys, Black Bumpers. Coming down off of Jersey boys, Lady Undertaker. Look at the pedigree before I get into it. We done ran into the Jersey boys a couple times tonight. Down there in that losing section. You know what I'm saying? They work fast lane dog, man. There's some more of that Ronnie Boyle stuff. He won all four of them in the Northeast. Check out the pedigree. Nice pedigree. Nice Boyle's dog. Mm-hmm. Boyle's dogs, they was doing their thing now. He had Chico, Abana, he had all good referees, all four referees. Chico, Abana Chico, three of them, and then G Tiger, the fourth one. All recognizable referees. All recognizable referees. Captain America, Gina, he did a good one right there now. In 59, oh yeah, he did a good one. 38-pounder. Jersey boys, Dirty Becky, good dog. Nice bread, nice Boyle's cross right there. Y'all don't see too many of them good Black Bumpers, dog, but them Jersey boys have some good ones. Remember STP? Bought one. That was one of them champions you seen, Jersey boy. Mm-hmm. STP bought one from him. One of them boys' dogs down off of him. Okay. Yeah, we can keep moving. Oh, yeah, Rocker Stone. Well, yeah, that's Cherry Bomb Bitch. Yeah. Okay, since we got him up on the stage, Pablo and the Soul Man's and Sons Exes, coming down off of that Mr. X, Soul Man's Megan, family bread shit. We see that Gunner, the Andre Jerome Gunner being bred to Cherry Bomb. That might have put some spark in that shit. That Turkington stuff was pretty good too. I'm kind of lost on the cousin shit, but I can tell you that cousin's Tar Baby in that bottom, in that middle right there on that cousin's cup. probably some pretty good dogs. You know, Henry B. bred to the dog. You know, Henry B. bred to the dog. You know, I got to get a dog some props. Got to remember the mind of a breeder. What made Henry B. breed to that cousin dog? Okay? Well, guess what? By him doing that, they produced the mama to a champion. All right? 40 pounds, won in 1 hour and 5 minutes. He won another one in 2 hours and 51 minutes. And then a championship, he won in 1 hour and 1 minute. No recognized rough, no recognized kennels, but I can almost guarantee you, double bred on the cousin star, baby. That goes back to the Maurice Carver bloodline. Homebred dog. He was campaigned in Florida, so hey, we might not know the names, but he was in a good area. You know, if Jack didn't like him, Jack will let you know, I don't know nothing about the dog, I don't know nothing about the competitors, or even the judges. But we're going to give him his. From 89 to 91, he probably didn't have a big yard, but he had a good yard. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's a line of dogs right there. That's a line of dogs. That's a family of dogs right there. They stuck to their game plan and they got it. Okay, we're going to do one more, man, before we close out the night. I'm going to turn it back over to Mike. I want to make this last one a good one, okay? I'm going to find a real good one, man. Let's close out the night with. I don't know who I want. Going back to my dude from my grand championship.
While Mo doing that, I'm gonna sit here. Give my shout out to my man Horsepower. I see you, fam.
Yeah, my mic off. It's your mic here. What's still on? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm coming with my last one, y'all. I told you I was gonna bring y'all a good one. I'm gonna bring y'all a good one. I'm coming with what I started with earlier. Roster Man's Grand Champion Bronson. I give it a chance to come up. Grand Champion Bronson, Roster Man, Grand Champion Bronson, bred by who? Fat Bill. Fat Bill. Hell of a breeding right there. Good breeding right there. I hear it all the time. I hear that when I've got the earphone, it breaks up all the time when I'm listening.
Oh, but they must be talking.
No, when I'm talking,
Yeah, this mic ain't on.
I'm saying in the earphones that
earphones be breaking up. We don't be breaking up over here. Not the mic. It's
Okay.
the earphones.
I just need you to tell me.
Well, I do get it. I listen to it all the time. Okay, it's Fat Bill's Thumper, Fat Bill's BB. Gardner's Amos, Fat Bill's Black Rose, Snake Man's Grand Champion Pedro, Gardner's Miss Snooty. Oh hell, we got the last one. It took a zip on this, but Mike gonna go back and grab it before we close it out. While he doing that, Rasta Man, you can tell he gonna get him a bulldog, and that Rasta, that Brunson dog was a bad boy, and you're gonna see he was a good dog. It tells you a lot about Fat Bill and his shit. Fat Bill might be an asshole, but Fat Bill was a bulldog. And again, if you can take Fat Bill's shit and it's no different than anybody else, he's proved that his shit can win in everybody else's hands too. And that's a right in his own to speak on.
That big shot.
Put that up. This one. My man said Kunta killed everything they put him on. Under 30. Show me something better than that. Well, I can't show you nothing better than that. I can tell you that was Brat's little May brother. And it was known she did the same thing her brother did. I think Brat's longest match was 26 minutes. Big Shaggy, I don't know if you knew that before, but over here, man, Little Mayday is Kunta, a.k.a. Champion Kunta. That was Brat's Little May brother off of Mayday. Okay, we should be back up here in a minute. Well, you're right, Pit Dog. He definitely didn't kill Wacko because Wacko quit, right? He didn't get a chance to kill Wacko because Wacko quit. And for those who didn't know, Pit Dog was there at that match. He saw the match, so he definitely saw the match. But like he said, Wacko died too, didn't he? Okay, Shaggy, yes, he did. Just like Tommy Boy did. Just like everything Brat went on. Because Brat, everything that was game, everything, the dogs that didn't quit on Brat. Brat had two dogs that didn't quit on her. Her first and her third. Her first and her third. Oh, Big Shaggy. Pit Dog, if you don't remember, I remember it was 36 minutes that he beat Wacko. Pit Dog said, yeah, it was around there. Yeah, I got the match reports. Yeah, he did. Like he said, he did die after the match. Well, I see what he's saying. He said he killed everything. Maybe not during the show, but didn't nobody go home is what he's saying. All right, y'all, we back. Everything else was around that 30 minutes. If you look at most of all the Mayday dogs, like Brat, she didn't go over 30 minutes. What a day off of
Maytu bred the baby, she didn't go over 30 minutes. You know, couple of them didn't go over 30 minutes. Red Ruby, she won 7. She never went over 30 minutes. You know, Chanel and them, they went, you know, the longest they went was like maybe 36, 37 minutes. Chanel, May, she never went over 40 minutes. Annabelle never went over 40 minutes. These are all daughters of Mayday. All daughters of Mayday. What a day was off of Brat and Maytu. That was damn it. That was double Mayday there. And what's her name? Oh, Red Ruby. Red Ruby was off of Graveyard, who was off of Mayday. And Red Ruby's mother was Madame, and she was off of Brat, bred to Maytu. Maytu was her son. Maytu was off of Brat, bred to Mayday. Okay, y'all, we got Bronson on the stand again. Okay, look how good Bronson is bred, man. Bronson was bred as a good dog. He was bred as a good dog. Bronson was bred as a good dog. And look at the people that he whooped. I mean, first look at the referees. Cunningham, Smidge, Harris Brothers, Cunningham. Then you got Tom. Now, his first match went 1 hour and 38. Second match, he won in 26. Third match, he beat Magic Line, that AK-47, which is said to be a badass dog. He beat him in 30 minutes. That Sandhills Chris's buddy, another good dog, he beat him 48 minutes. But look what weight he went to. He went up to 48 to get him. He went up to 48 to get him. You know, that is some roster man shit. He must have knew what he was doing. And then he beat the champion bandit dog in 45 minutes. That's 46 minutes at 41. He was 41, 40 pounder, but he went as far as 48. A black dog had just recently passed away. I mean, 1990 to 1992. He think, yeah. He said, matter of fact, he's saying that I can't help but think that Bronson's weight in his fourth match was a typo error. If not, he was surely matched out of his class since the other 4 matches were between 40 and 41. Bronson was bred, born, and raised in Campaign in North Carolina. The North Carolina Bulldog. He was a bad one too now. So he just didn't have Lady Stone. There's a couple more out there, y'all. You know, old Roster Man was a bulldogger. You know, he's a good dog man to have around on your show. He knows the game. He knows everybody. He really does know everybody. He's been out there. And he definitely represents North Carolina. For sure. For sure. Always have. Give me that one more time, Mike. Okay, it's my last one of the night, y'all. My last one of the night. I wanted to say that one for the last because this is the year of the Bulls dogs. We had a couple Bulls dogs on the show. It wouldn't be right if I didn't bring up old Jose's Grand Champion Bull, a.k.a. Windy City Combine's Jose's Grand Champion Bull. Another great bred Boyles dog. Some great dogs came from this pedigree that we know a little about. Others come from pedigrees that are extremely popular. Bull pedigree is one of the more popular of the day in age. A little sprinkling of some champions, and grand champions and registered mares. Bred by Ronnie Boyles and a 5-time winner in the North Midwest section of the country. A red and white dog, he has won in 11 minutes as well as 2 hours and a half. Now he beat Bernie in 2 hours and 30 minutes. He beat Bluegrass in 1 hour and 25 minutes. Randy B. Cross was the referee in the first one. Randy B. was referee in the second one. You know, Ray Lester, Bluegrass Kennels had that Wrangler dog, so you know he's going to bring a game one. So this dog had to been, his game was checked down there with what? Down there 3 hours and a half of pit time? No, down near 4 hours. Down to 5 minutes away. You know, I mean, he got some goddamn bulldog time under him now. He beat the Spike Dog in 11 minutes. He beat the Posse Kennel in 38 minutes. And then he beat Noonie for a championship, refereed by Suburbanite Paul in 1 hour and 4 minutes. Yeah, you know, Nate was the referee of the fourth one. The Geek was the referee of the third one. Randy B, second one, and crossed the first one. Oh, it's the Greek. Okay, I said the Geek. It's the Greek. My bus. Somebody has some Jose sperm out there. I don't know how they would have got it if old Lowry didn't have it, because even after they took all the dogs, they couldn't go in their place, the sperm bank, and go take your straws. You know what I'm saying? You know, I really don't believe there was any straws out there. Some of these guys, some of these breeders, and I'm talking like Pat Patrick, who should have had straws. STP should have had straws. You know what I'm saying? You know, these are guys who matched dogs, but they were also breeders. These guys were also breeders. James Crenshaw should have had straws. Fletcher Chavis, old as he was, you know, he could have had straws. David Tanton definitely should have had straws. You know, a lot of these great dogs. Champion Bolt actually should have had straws. You know, a lot of that stuff that you're right about. It's right. You know, that's the deal. Okay. All right, y'all. That's me for tonight, man. I like the little bit of input that I did get. You know, I used that Johnny Rocket. I used that pad stuff, that little purple stuff. You know, I forgot the name of it, but it's the little purple stuff that you put on their pads. You keep putting it on there, it makes their pads tough. You'll stop burning their pads. You put that. It's called Tough Pad. Tough Pad. TUFF pad. If they still got it out there, you know, I used to live by that shit. You know what I mean? Definitely Tough Pad. You just put it on there before work, and then even after you work, you know, you put it on you. You know, and the constant use of it makes their pads tougher. You'll stop, you know, they'll start getting burnt. You know, my thing is, it's a lesson to learn now. But from now on, when you put your dog in pre-keep, it's advisable always to get you 2 bottles before you start to keep. And immediately before you start to keep, start putting the Tough Pad on in your pre-keep. And that'll eliminate any lost days of having to worry about, healing up them pads. Because if you push and worrying about, I ain't got no days to lose, then you're going to hurt yourself. You ain't going to get what you need out of your dog. So if you go tearing up pads and got dogs with sore pads, you're going to have to sit them down. Treat them, but you're going to have to sit them down. Period. I'm not going to tell you, take them little short walks and all that. I'm not going to tell you that. A dog can be tippy-toeing and mess around there and hurt their leg by just stepping on a rock because their paws are so tender. So if you got sore pads, it's time to rest your dog. Do the prep work. Now that do the prep work before you have to worry about that. But if you got it, if it happens and you ain't got it, get it, put it on your dog, but rest your dog until they can walk back on their feet. They don't need to be tiptoeing. Can't get nothing out of a dog, just tiptoes. I see y'all talking a whole lot about the wacko Kunta match. Well, he might not have, Pit Dog might not have ever seen Brat, but he definitely seen Little Mayday, and he'll tell you, he go right into that stifle like Brat and all the rest of them going hard dogs. He was the one that broke Brat's leg, and they was 10 months old. He broke Brat's leg in 2 places on just a bite. Snapped that mug in 2 places.
Then he fucked up Charlie.
And then we put him on Charlie. Like I said, we put him on Charlie. The dog was supposed to go into Tyrone, and he gave him hell. And then you might say, well, Charlie must not have been shit. But then look what Little Mayday did to motherfucking Wacko. And Wacko beat a couple damn good dogs. Real good dogs. So you can't take nothing away from Charlie just because that 15-month-old puppy got in that ass. There was a reason why he got in that ass, because he was a bulldog. But you can't take nothing away from Charlie. You see what he said? He went right to the back end, just like going hard dogs do. And we'll fuck it up like going hard dogs do. I'm gonna turn this over to Mike. Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate you, Pit Dog. I see you standing up on that shit. I'm glad you in here, because they might be wondering. Am I? I ain't trying to make sure everybody else know. I'm speaking up for my shit, standing behind my shit. I know my dog, and I'm gonna stand on that. And yeah, he had all the characteristics of a going hard dog. He was my dog at 20 months old. And you think I don't know what my dog looked like at 20 months old? I can give a fuck. It was 4 or 5 years later. And in this case, down there 20-some years later.
That's why we never got that fight.
That's why we never got that match when we was trying to take Buck Rogers in the Kunta. And Buck Rogers is Little Mayday's grandson. He comes off of Brat. Sassy Girl. Sassy Girl is the mama, the baby, and Buck Rogers. Yeah, her daddy was Little Mayday. We was at him. They just didn't want us because they knew who he was. That's right, G-Bill. G-Bill took the reign. Shit, G-Bill got one off of him named Skins. Go and tell him, Mike.
Yeah.
Wacko produced Skins.
Yeah, Mo want me to let y'all know Wacko produced Skins. Champion skins, to be exact. Big shout out to G-Bill. Let me get some of these names. Big shout out to Big Shaggy. Let me get into some of these names. Let me see. We got Big Shaggy. My man, the one and only Mr. Vladimir Irvin's in the house. What up, fam? Long time no see, Vlad. My man, Mr. Johnny Rocket in the house. What up, fam? Yo, big shout out to my man, Mr. Hemi James in the house. What up? Bam! I'm just trying to go back, see if it's anybody. You know how Mo get talking. He don't be saying no names. He ain't shouting out. I had to go do a little change around, let him work his hand from over here. Look here, fellas. If you pay attention tonight and just check out some of the breedings and some of the dogs. Now, for us back in that time period, now think about it. This is, you know, he was like 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. As far as we went. We didn't get into none of the 93, 94, 95, 96s. But if you pay attention to the time frame, you remember we told you there was a time when Boyle's dogs was ruling. Remember the last couple shows, he has not went beyond 92. And you see nothing but Boyle's dogs in these books. They had a run that was phenomenal in them late 80s, early 90s. But when you start going up into the 90s, from 90, say 3, about from 93 to 95, I mean, I would say up to 98, because a lot of people had got stuck on them Boyle's dogs. And as you start coming up in time and start looking at, you start seeing some of them L's. And if you pay close attention, you will notice what is giving these great Boyle's dogs these L's. So you can't blame it on the breeding program. See, when you look at these bloodlines, when you see Cherokee Chief in the second generation type of shit, I mean, a lot of the great dogs that he been showing you, there's been great dogs in the second and the third generation. Some of them is in the first generation. You know, so pay attention to the time period, not taking anything away from the dogs and the dog men. It's to give you an idea of what was the situation, what was going on in the game. So you want to understand the best thing, you know, what was going on. You know, the journal was always that, you know, record keeper to give you an idea so you can see. Look at all the champions that Ronnie Boyles had behind his name. I mean, you had the Boyles blood, and then you had the Boyles brand. That shit was so damn tough. You know, and it had a good run. But like everything else, time changes. Now, we always talk about the Carver dogs, the Eli's, you know, the Boudreaux. You know, anytime I hear Boudreaux, I always think of Carver. You know, so coming up out of Carolina and being our first dogs came out of Carolina, well, you already know we're going to have Eli dogs. So, you know, we were young, but you can't take away from the dogs, because even as being green to the game as we was, them men gave us some good goddamn dogs, because Judo, Mikey, Bruiser, Blood, and BA, Solo, I'm telling you, man, them was some badass bulldogs just in some green dudes' hands. But we got better. We got better. I mean, we got real good. But the fact is, you can't take nothing away from the dogs. You know, it just, because of our greenness, I completely understand when they say you got to step your game up. You can't blame it on the dog. You need to step your game up, Twin. Twin had to step his game up. And there was a lot of people involved in that. That's why we always make sure we give our big shout outs to Ohio Cash, my man James Pope, T.O., you know, them boys right there.
Joe and Nate.
You know, Joe, Nate, McNasty, Armin. I mean, those guys reach out, you know, because we up there, you know, with Mama, we up there in that area. We ain't in Carolina no more. So we back home. So when you get back home around your peeps, and you bring in bulldogs, you know, you stepping into their world. And we did. We jumped. I mean, I'm at home. It's a little bit different. I had to make a name in Carolina. At home, I already had a name. I'm at home. And you coming back through there with these damn bulldogs, twin. But I tell you what, them bulldogs that came up out of Carolina was enough to shake them damn boys up at home. Shake them right up. You know, and then to turn around and get, because of them, get them dogs like Mikey from Millbuster. Oh, we had one hell of a run because Judo came back and became a 2-time winner, 1-time loser, and would have been a champion if they hadn't stolen because he just bumped off a champion. Champion Jug. I mean, he was going for his championship. He ended up getting his championship, champion Jughead, but Judo was going to be his only loss. A goddamn Eli dog. A snooty dog. You know, so yeah, I look back on the moments of our early days in the game when you're talking about them 80s and them 90s. You know, Mo know a lot about them people because, you know, we was just getting into Ohio. And we stepping right in amongst all these great dog men being schooled. We was fresh, green, and willing to learn and listen. Definitely had the dogs to do it with, though. That was the key. We didn't have the knowledge, but we had the right dogs, which I have all respect in the world to the dog man who gave us them dogs. You know? So that played a big difference as far as our growth. We didn't come in with bullshit ass dogs. We just didn't have the knowledge. Once you got the knowledge, those bullshit ass excuses that we have for doing some of the dumb shit that we were doing early, you took that away and you got a chance to really see the quality of the dogs. And I think it was due to the quality of the dogs and the guys who put us on and the winning. I mean, if it don't be for the dogs winning, they wouldn't have been stolen. That's all I'm gonna say about that situation. But then you learn from that. They will steal a pit bull. I mean, back then we wasn't thinking like that. Who in the fuck steals a pit bull? A lot of people go around stealing pit bulls. Once you start learning the history of this game, that's why we always hollering, where your cameras at? You know, get them goddamn cameras, get them up. Because if it wasn't worth stealing, they wouldn't steal it. You know? But fellas, look. This going into the new year, I would just want you guys to just be able to take that thing with you and just remember, even though we play back here in the past, you know, and we work our way all the way up until we can work our way all the way up into 2008 when it comes to talking about these bulldogs. We just start back here in the 90s because, you know, we always say them bulldogs had their run. But as we keep doing these shows, we're going to keep working our way forward. You already know what our shit looked like, so you can almost tell based on the time periods, you already know where the changes came in. When you start talking about Yellow John, Red Boy Dogs, I mean, you know, there's a time, they had their time period too. But the thing is, if you stop and go back and look where that shit comes from, you know, we take you all the way back and show you where it come from. Let's go all the way back to Carver. Shit, we'll go all the way back to goddamn Klaus and Kobe and Earl. Because if you pay close attention, everybody that was breeding and fighting their dogs, at some point, they all wind up crossing into each other, which made better dogs. That's how the dogs got better. And I mean, understand that point. The journal gives us a chance to actually look at working dogs and their breeding programs over a long period of time to where you can analyze where the change come from And why do we say the dogs got better? See, this is what competition does. The more popular this game got, the harder the competition became. Because by the 90s, it was by the mid 90s to the late 90s, it was in full bloom. And there was a whole lot of changing going on, a lot of changing of the guard. So, yeah, you got to respect the work that these men put in, but then you have to appreciate what you see based on what you see, because there's nothing really back there. There's nothing back there you can go change. You've seen pedigrees that you probably never seen before. You know, didn't know half the men in them pedigrees, didn't know half the people that they were putting these dogs into. But if you pick up a journal, you can down there pick up any journal and you're going to see a whole book of shit. We just deal with the champions and the grand champions, because there's so many more that's in that book to, you know, hey, you know, you might find some people in there that you might know. There's so many in there that just never made it to that losing list of one of the great dogs, but not everything, you know, became great. Not everything became a champion. But the thing is, there were so many guys over those years that were willing to make them sacrifices and put in that work. You know what I'm saying? So, as we get out of here, you know, hey, before I do anything, y'all, do me a favor here. This is our last show. This is our last show of the year. Show me some love. Making me a late Christmas present. Show me some love and give me some damn thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles. 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 Now,
45 people up in here.
got 45 people up in here. All I need y'all to do, even if you got to just put one, but I need it. I need my goddamn roses. Roses. We need damn roses. Show your love. Yeah, man, show some love. Cause this year here, we're going out the back door, but we going out the back door talking shit, because going into 2026, I'm looking to be, you know, an advocate for dog shows, running up the damn wall, running the treadmill. I'm advocating for anybody who really talk about doing the right thing with these damn dogs. Okay, let's see. I'm ready to see some champion treadmill racing dogs. I'm ready to see some champion confirmation dogs. I'm ready to see the competition get stuck, because the more people that does these shows, the better the dogs are going to be, confirmation wise, treadmill running up walls. You're going to get better dogs for whatever that's their purpose. The more you got as far as people putting in the work and being competitive, you're going to get better dogs based on the purpose. A bulldog don't know what it's doing. It's going to always give you what's all, especially if it's in the heart. We don't need to talk about the base, because the basement going to take care of itself.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year's to everybody out there. I hope y'all go into the New Year still loving them dogs, but then be willing to put in some work. Stop talking about it and start being about it. You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm coming from. All respect to the bulldog community, and all much love and big time respect to the goddamn Shark Tank. Y'all have been valuable to this channel. Y'all are one of the major reasons why we keep coming back. We don't have to have 300 or 400 in here, but just think for the 70 or 60 or 80 people to come, they only show up and stay out here to toot while we just bulldogging. You got to respect that part of, the game. And I'm going to always have the utmost respect for you. You know what I'm saying? So as we get up ready to get out of here, I'm going to put this on Mo. We might talk our shit, but we've had our ups and we done had our downs just like everybody out here in this game. But when all else fail, dust your shit off. Dust your shit off. And back your ass in the corner and get up and go, because that's where you're going to find your success at, because you're going to learn to always, I mean, goddamn it, we always scratch the win.
That's right, baby.
That's right, man. If you can't do that, then why are you in it? If you ain't going to be in it to win it.
That's right.
Well, that closes out tonight. This is how I'm going to this is how I'm rolling out. Yeah.
Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cars. From yellow Mayday 8s, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty mama got the look and the structure intact. L-Ride bring the heat, yellow bird bring the flame. Gus and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turned. No shortcuts taken, no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Mo and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday ace, turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the gang, stamp legit. Find him in Tornadoes pedigree. Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O., our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennel, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the stack is 6. Yeah. Tom, Dick, Todd, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time. Time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low type, apex pressure built for the chase. Gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade. Third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. I said third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid.
It's Mo and Mike in the house.
Going hard with the legends, paying homage, Yo. Twins Mo and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right. The brat, pretty mama, they shining so bright. La Mayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L-Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register, I'm merit. we got the elite. Made a buck Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore hitters, Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam lifting us higher.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Made a buck Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Being Nate Dogg, putting in work in the twine. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play.
So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins, Mo and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Made a buck Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom. Schoolboy, aka the